Is up, party people? I don't know if it's going yet. There it goes. What is up, party people? It's Amy. I should have cleared my throat before I started. Gross. Sorry. Anyway, what is up, party people? It's Amy. And I had a better day today than I did earlier this week. I had a really good day. So I'm in a really good mood. But I still want to finish Creatures Such as We. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know where I'm wearing headphones because there's no sound on this. It's just me clicking. So anyway, I'm gonna read hopefully the rest of this. I don't know how long it is. I was gonna do this Thursday, but I was super tired. Still mostly, or still better, but mostly, occasionally, not mostly, occasionally getting tired. So, but pretty awake now, for at least now. Yeah. Are you awake too? Are you awake too? Anyway, so I'm gonna start. We're gonna. Oh my gosh, I say that I'm wide awake and I'm just gibberishing like a tired person. You know. You know. You're a tired person. Anyway, let's continue Creatures Such as We. So previously, let's see. What do we know? We're on the moon. We are a guide for a tour group. The tour group that is there now are the developers for a video game that we were really invested in but didn't care for the ending of. There is also a guy from another company who's working with them to bankroll an idea that has not been named. And one guy's sick with the flu, and he doesn't know, and we're not supposed to let anybody know. So I'm gonna be honest. If the option is to tell this guy that he's sick, I probably will. Heads up. I don't know if that's coming up. I'm gonna say, like, dude, you got the flu. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it makes sense to maybe lie. In this case, I don't see it, but whatever. Especially if we're gonna kick him off in 2 days. Whatever. All right, escort them to dinner. The day one dinner is always high quality. It's where the chefs show off how far spacefaring cuisine has come over the years thanks to engineered yeasts, specially designed ventilator ovens, and higher quality ingredients. It will be a diffusing meal once you get them there, but you can just feel their curiosity building. Their silence gives it away. Where is Grant? Why isn't he joining us for dinner? But you need to keep them distracted, focused on having a good time. Your best option at this point is to smile and nod, but the silence starts to bug you. Do you break it? No, my best bet is to just drop them off as quickly as possible. No, I don't want them to think I'm nervous. Yes, if I talk nonstop, they won't have a chance to speak edgewise. Here's the thing. I don't think any of these are necessarily good options, right? I don't want to talk nonstop, but just be like, general conversation's probably not a bad idea. I can't remember. Well, did anybody learn anything in the where were they, the telescopes or something? Or hey, did you hear that? I forgot the guy's name. Was it James? Did you hear that he found a a habitable planet that we hadn't seen before or something? Like you could mix it up a little bit, but let's say no, I don't want them to think I'm nervous. You go at a leisurely pace that tourists prefer, but you are deliberately avoid making eye contact or looking at them. Great. And then it happens. Hey, Betty, James calls out. Your hairs prick as he finishes. Are you going to join us again? Gross. Your face warms and your face warms and your face slips into a small but real smile. That's not what you expected. It's certainly not unpleasant, though. Maybe there wouldn't be any harm in pressing your luck and continuing like everything's normal. That's the other aspect of the game. I think we're supposed to like want to be like involved with one of the other characters, and I don't know how motivated I am for that. So But let's see what's going on. Are you able to join us again? Sure, I'd love to. Sure, let me serve everyone first. Sure. Excuse me. Just let me clear it with management. I'd actually better go check on Grant instead. Okay, so I'd rather check on Grant. It's probably true because I think that my character has what he has, and so I'd be like, "You dying?" Because I might be dying. But I also don't want to be like all about Grant because I feel like that's something I'm accidentally doing. So, sure, I'd love to. Not true. Sure, let me serve everyone first. It's fine. Sure, let me clear it with management. Do I have to clear it with management? I don't want to do anything like again, handbook, right? We don't have the handbook. We just got to guess. I'm going to say sure, just let me serve everyone first because I assume that's my job. You still feel a bit bad about making another employee serve you like you were the guest before. Not again. You smile to the gums. But first things first, what would everyone like to eat? Everyone goes for the special of vegetable empanadas and Chilean repla pork ragu. Ren and Sadri opt for the spicier versions. You get it all arranged and brought out. They seem pleasantly surprised at the inclusion of real forks, knives, and plates. You carry over the last tray, your tray, and pause. Whose table should you join? Diana, Sadri, and Ren, Andres, and James. Okay, so here's the thing. So the last time it was Diana and James, and then Andre, Sadre, and Ren were at a different table. I would assume, I regret going to dinner with these people, but I would assume I would sit with Andres and James since he's the one who said, "Are you going to sit with us, or are you going to have dinner with us?" So it would be weird if he's like, "You going to have dinner with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going to hang out with those dudes." Hopefully you can just keep Andres and James distracted with the empty seat, considering that Grant won't be coming. See, that also helps. James looks over his meal with a skeptical eye. He turns to you critically. All of this is so much better than lunch. Why even bother with that crap when you can obviously do better than the past? Andres flips over a fork in his hand. It's hollow metal, which takes some getting used to. He turns to you. So I know what I got out of it, but what do you think? Why does Space Joy have its tourists jump through the disgusting food hoops? Options. A lot of tourists enjoy the native food experience. It is designed to show how far space travel has advanced. It highlights how difficult the early space expeditions were. It's a trick to get you to appreciate having the quality of things we can actually cook. I don't know the answer. I would just give them whatever the real answer is, right? I would say a lot of tourists enjoy the native food experience. I don't know if that's true. I feel like I'm lying now. James shrugs and throws in his own thoughts. I guess it was interesting to see what it used to be like. He smiles and turns intently to the ragu. I'm assuming that's a ragu. Intentionally leaving the vegetables for later. You try not to look judgmental. Andre stares at you intently. You haven't answered my question. That answers why Space Joy does it, but how about how you feel about it? He cuts some of the pastry crust, develops it on a fork. My options are bad experiences help you appreciate good ones. Suffering doesn't enhance enjoyment. Knowing what it means to suffer helps you appreciate the plight of others. It's just a trick the company uses to save some money. I mean, I assume it's that. I would probably say bad experiences help you to appreciate the good ones because I say that for other things. I feel like it's a little heavy for this topic, but that's fine. Andres skeptically contorts his face. Oh, come on, you don't actually believe that, do you? How cruel. He butters an empanada, an odd choice of seasoning. James laughed. If you believed our forums, you'd know that any negative experience, no matter how you know that any negative experience, no matter how small, means the whole thing is ruined. Andres slowly dissects his ragu, inspecting it thoroughly. I bet that consultant kid has studied it. I bet he'd know what was what. They look over at the empty chair. You tense up. Grant is definitely not going to make it to dinner. Here it comes. Andres waves your nerves away. No, don't worry about it. I've been thinking about him being sick as like a weird source of inspiration. Like, what kind of game could you make out of someone being sick? Maybe an ER casual game where you can shock hearts and pump stomachs and stabilize bleeding? I think it'd be fun. But then I realized it was kind of wrong to go there, right? My options are I'd love to play it. Tell me more about the mechanics. We have to draw motivation from life. I think it's disrespectful. Yeah, so I don't think it's disrespectful. I think this, we have to draw motivations from life, is weird. I'd love to play it. I don't know that that's true. So I would be interested in the mechanics of it. Andres puts down his fork, and looks semi-contemplative. Oh, you have to tap to the rhythm to perform CPR, swipe to do other things. I'd have to research it. Or maybe it could be management sim, like you need to manage the doctors well enough to prepare for all kinds of emergencies. James nods. That would definitely have better potential ratings wise. It's more removed from the dark realities. Andres puts down his glass of blue liquor. I think the question comes down to this. Should we avoid making games out of the sadder parts of humanity? And if so, why? Uh, yeah. Okay, what are our options? Making games helps us deal with reality. Yeah. Making games out of dying isn't fun. Depends on how you do it. I think the real test would be if people in hospitals liked it. Games with a message don't do well. I think making games helps us deal with reality. Andres nodded thoughtfully. Oh, I think it definitely helps take away death's sting, but is that necessarily a good thing? James frowns. And why does death deserve a sting? Hasn't it had that particular power for long enough? Andre sighs. I guess it's more evolved than that. I mean, if we come to grips with death, with our problems, and then what motivates us to find a solution for them, we accept hardship. We stop looking for ways to end it. That's true. Okay, without levity, we'd be trapped in depression. It takes generations to deal with those kinds of problems. Maybe games can help achieve the change. We need to be reminded of the consequences. All of these suck. Okay. I would talk about how, at a certain point you start digging into the nihilism and I don't know. I don't want to get into it. But let's say without levity, we'd be trapped in a depression. James grins. I think that's true. We'd never be able to do another. We'd never be able to do anything. It's really too much for any one individual to bear. That's why we joke about the bugs we find. Andre pauses from cutting apart some replica pork. Well, yes, but we joke about them so that the entitled, complaining players get drowned out by our self-aware humor. It's a strategy to get players to just deal with the annoyance. James glares at Andre. Even if I joke, I still seriously care about them getting fixed. Andre shakes his head. I just think that we can be doing something better with our game, better than telling a story or being fun. We could be making a difference. My options are, you are making a difference. How would you do that? Will the game still be fun? I think better work could be done elsewhere. I would want to know, how would you do that? Andres looks off. I'm not sure, but there must be a way that we can use our influence. James grins wholeheartedly. I think we'll figure it out. We've got some expertise. We'll figure a way out. I know it. He finished his drink and looks around. Oh, I wonder if you can drink on the moon. I would get so moon drunk, dude. You realize somewhat suddenly that everyone's finished. You spring to, somewhat embarrassed at being caught off guard. You revert quickly to professional mode, solidifying your smile. I hope everyone enjoyed dinner. Now there's an hour free time, and then it's lights out for the rest of the staff. You are free to stay up, of course, and if you need anything at all, you pause longer than necessary. I will always be on call. The tourists filter out, and thanks for the delicious food. Now it's time to focus on dishes, and then your time is your own. That bad ending has been bothering you all day, and you'd really like to figure it out before the designers leave. Time to relax. The game creates a new save file for your prologue as you... Oh, my goodness. The game creates a new save file for you as the prologue starts. Your character walks into the medical facility past a television looping anti-zombie political arguments from the recently missing activist Senator Lores and the check-in counter. The receptionist, a zombie, stands and waves you along. Come with me, they're ready for you. He chats as he walks. I'm glad you've elected to take the procedure. It's quite simple, and you can't imagine how fantastic you feel afterwards when your body is constantly at its best. He directs you into a room with two smiling zombies wearing lab coats. Oh, I hate zombies. Oh, I don't like this idea. Oh, okay. The room has a full wall mirror on one side, and as your character turns to look at the reflection in the mirror, you see yourself as a zombie, and the game fades into the character select tool. Which gender do you choose for yourself? You got male, female, or you wish there were more choices. That's fair. I'm going to be female, though. And then, which base skin do you choose for yourself? You got Caucasian, African, Asian, or this should have more choices too. All right. As a white lady, I'm just gonna be a white lady, and then I don't like. There probably should be more choices, but because I'm a white lady playing a white lady game, I assume, um, I probably wouldn't notice honestly because it doesn't affect me, and I acknowledge that. All the options unlock, and the reflection solidifies into a preset zombie face. Oh, I just wish I could choose not being a zombie. Ugh. Okay. You have a slider where you can make minor adjustments: bone structure, hairstyle, facial scars, body size. What sort of look are you going for with your zombie? You have absolutely ruthless, gruff and troubled, lean and creepy, strict and no nonsense, beautiful and stunning, sweet and kind, hit random until I find something I like. Just stick with the default. I don't play a lot of games where you get to really, really, really work on what you look like because that part is boring to me. Um, but I do, like, when I do play it, I do try to do. What am I? I was just. Oh, okay. This is a hard. This is a hard thought experiment. Trying to. I would probably go with beautiful, stunning, because I would try to do it as unzombie like as possible. So, ugh. You want it to look perfect, especially for all the action angles. As you adjust the details of the face, you really get into the groove of messing with the sliders. Yeah, that looks good. Then you notice a button you didn't notice before. It says use previous appearance. Well, shit. You like the new look you've got now, but you're also a bit attached to the old appearance. Which one do you use? The new appearance, the old female appearance, or the old male appearance? I would probably, I don't know. I'd use the old one. With that settled, you continue the game. The man takes a cutely timid step forward. Hey there. I'm the technician that will be assisting the scans and x-rays, monitoring your progress and making sure transition happens smoothly. He practically purrs. I really look forward to working with you. The woman immediately follows. I'm the phlebotomist. I'll be monitoring the doctor administering the initial injection and then taking your blood for periodic testing. I hope you won't hold it against me too much, she gently teases. The receptionist turns to you. Well, you can either get your pre-injection scans or blood work knocked out first. Who would you like to go with? It's hard to decide between the two. In what situation am I? Oh, okay. See, okay, here are my options. Why do I have to choose? The technician, he's cuter. The phlebotomist, she's cuter. I was going to say, why do I have to choose? I've been to doctor's offices before. There's never been a time where I've been in a doctor's office and I need a test. And they're like, okay, hold on. Which one do you want to do first? So I'm going to say, why do I have to choose? The medics laugh and exchange devious grins, and they explain that while normally that sounds like a lot of fun, the moment it's purely a practical matter. After all, you can't be scanned at the same time your blood is being drawn. They do hint that about maybe later, though. That's actually pretty cool. Okay. Here's the thing. That's not how going to a doctor works. That's not how getting tests work. And I don't decide, like, if I was at a doctor's office and I needed, what is it, a scan or blood taken, I wouldn't decide which I do first based on who's cuter, right? So we're going to eliminate the he's cuter, she's cuter options. Well, I guess if we're going to have to go through that, then I would choose the dude because I'm attracted to dudes. So, okay. Whatever, this is dumb. Alright, the phlebotomist practically pouts. Oh, well, are you sure? I don't have anyone else scheduled for another 15 minutes. Well, then why didn't you say that in the first place? Like, come with me, I got someone in 15 minutes, let's knock this out, and then you can get your scan. These zombies are terrible doctors, and I forgot they were zombies for a second. Now they're really, I don't want to go. Okay, we're okay. The technician, teases the phlebotomist. Come on now, stop trying to steal all the cute ones to yourself. He shoots your character a devil may care smile and points to the door. Let's get those scans done. Alright, so you can get those scans indeed, or actually I'm switching to getting my blood drawn. This is, okay. Alright, let's get the scans. He leans, oh god. Okay, he leans in close while leading your avatar down the hallway. So what made you decide to make the transition now? I hear that even Loris is shutting up about it now. After her son, an explosion interrupts his sentence and the camera view shakes wildly. Oh man, what if this happened if we got the blood drawn? A ringing nose drowns out background shouting, and you hear more blast noises. The camera pans over to show the technician grab your arm and bite, and then everything fades to black. You can feel it. Alright, vision returns, focused on the ground. Your avatar looks at her hand. They've turned ashen gray, and you can see flesh reconstructing in a gash in real time. You stand up and look over to the technician. He has multiple pieces of debris piercing him and pinning him to the ground. He waves you over. Thank goodness you're alright. Listen, we need to get out of here, and I need your help. You're going to have to rip apart my body and then allow it to reconstruct itself. Your character recoils as the technician continues. I've been thinking about this while you've been out. It's the only way, please. Wait, he bit me, though. Why would I help him? You assess the body. Okay, why did he bite me then? What? So, okay, is he like a dog? Where, like, he's fear aggressive, and so he heard a lot of explosion and just bit without thinking? What is... Okay. You assess the body. The torso is pinned, but most of the pressure seems to be on a single pipe. If you rip the body in half, it could be possible to rejoin the halves afterward. How do you start the process? My options are pull apart with my claws, bite apart with my fangs, cut the body apart with pieces of sharp and heavy debris, or try to leverage off the debris. Alright. Biting's out. That's the weirdest option. Ew, oh god, I just imagined it. Now you have to imagine it. You have a zombie technician. Why did he bite my arm? I'm sorry. You have a zombie technician who's pinned down. You have to rip his body in half, right? He's got a pipe through him, right? And you have to rip him, you have to get him in half. And you're like, oh, I'll just chew through him? That's fucking gross and weird. Pull apart with my claws. Like, what am I? I thought I was a zombie. What kind of zombie has fangs and claws? Am I a cat zombie? I'd probably cut apart the body with a piece of sharp, heavy debris. Your avatar grabs a sharper piece of cement. Oh. And brings it down heavily, decisively against the technician's torso, again and again through the skin, the muscles, the spine. You watch as the flesh tries to reconstruct itself, and as the internal organs retract away from the forming wounds. Your avatar pulls the halves out and then pushes together the part and allows them to start reforming. The technician moans and sits up. Thank you, you're the best. I'm sorry that I rushed you through the procedure, but it looks like that bite saved both of our lives. What? I don't... Alright. I'm Elegy, by the way, a self-chosen name after turning your shirt. Elegy looks your avatar over and smiles. You hear movement, see uniforms in a distance. A military rescue worker runs up. Any survivors? Any survivors? Excuse me. Say, here I am. There are 2 survivors here. Please help. Elegy here. There are 2 survivors here. The worker runs towards your character and reaches into a pack for supplies. Then you hear a gunshot in the distance. Time seems to slow as you see the hatred in her eyes, the incorrect details in the uniform, the visible glint of a gun in the pack. The game constructs a quick, projective cutscene of her murdering you both. But it hasn't happened yet. The woman is still reaching for her gun. Elegy jumps onto her, biting and clawing. You have to help. What kind of zombies are these? Attack the guard with claws and fangs. Smash the debris against the guard's head. Turn her gun against her. I think it would be easiest to smash debris against the head. You grab a slab of concrete and run toward the fake rescuer. She struggles against Elegy and fires once again. Elegy crumples, but the rescuer doesn't have time to turn against you. Excuse me. You bash against her face, and she stumbles back screaming, dropping her gun and raising her arm to protect herself. You smash through the arms and crush her skull. You do justice. Elegy was not so lucky. The shot hit his head. That's not survivable. The only hope Elegy has is if you help them become ethereal, but your character has no idea how it's done. Well, last time you picked up the option to hold the body, but maybe anything works? Ew. Hold the body, eat the brain, use your blood on the wound. Emoliate the body immediately. Okay, I guess emoliating the body is probably a bad idea, right? I don't want to eat the brain. I don't even care if that... Ugh. I mean, if I know that that's how it works. All right, hold the body. We know that's the one that works. Let's just go with it. You press it close to you, wrapping yourself around the flesh. Your character glows blue and sighs. There are whispers all around you. Your avatar shuts her eyes tightly. He floats up, down, then rotates and expands, playing with his new body. He is now immortal, but at the cost of being practically immaterial. Elegy regards the remains of his body. What a senseless waste. I didn't even get to eat anyone's brains. He turns to you. Maybe we could fix that together? Some gunshots in the distance startle both the characters. The level's about to start. What preparations should you do before things get serious? Focus on healing to full. Search body for weapons. Help Elegy. Help Elegy? He's immortal now. Like, what does he need help with? I would search body for weapons. You manage to find additional ammo, but no information. Disappointing. Elegy approaches your character with a flitting light. The air around him glows. We should work together. Merge. It'll make you more powerful. And now that I'm like this, well, I need a new job for starters. I say, okay, let's do it. Okay, but only for now. I'm not sure this is a good idea or no. I don't know. I guess. In a video game instance, I would say yes. If this was reality, I would have more hesitation. Elegy floats in front of your avatar, bouncing left and right. I'm a bit nervous, forgive me. If I don't do it quite right. But as the merging starts, Elegy trails off and your avatar glows blue, smiling and spreading delight. It must feel amazing. Ugh. A real feeling of warmth and belonging washes over your body as you watch. A new piece of the HUD pops up, a ghost power. It also grows bright blue. You chuckle at how much smaller it looks compared to the bar you've gotten to use at the end of your game. Oh, that is one thing I do like about replaying video games, is when, like, especially thinking about Bioshock Infinite, and like your bars get so long, and then you restart and it's like so small. You approach your first set of foes. More disguised rescue workers searching for survivors. How do you take them out? Guns, biting and clawing, stealth, or ghost powers. Okay. Again, stealth is never an option. Biting, clawing sounds stupid. I've got guns. Ghost power. I don't know what ghost power does, so I'm going to use my guns. You blast through wave after wave of fake rescue workers until the real one arrives. With the skill... How do I know the difference? With the skill-boosting ghost powers, you're able to really slow down and focus on your aim, getting a near-perfect ratio of headshots. You enjoy Elegy's quips and goads as you tear through the bodies. You're glad you didn't send him away. Was that an option? Your body tingles at the rush thanks to story mode. The fighting portion is actually a lot shorter, and soon the level ends and the game congratulates you. You breeze to the next level where the Department of Revenant Dignity inducts you as a new recruit. Your progress saves, one step closer to finish. You can't wait to reach the ending. This time will go better, you're certain of it. But that's what you have. But that'll have to be another day. The stress of the day catches up with you. You can feel that you should have gone to bed hours ago. I know what that's like. You should power down and Velcro back into your bed. Things are looking good. Time for sleep. Remarkably, it's your alarm that wakes you, as opposed to a page in the middle of the night from guests wanting booze. Okay, you can't drink on the moon. Or their personal medication stashed stored in sickbay. You actually feel refreshed enough to look forward to dealing with the breakfast buffet duties. You could get used to these guests. They're so damn polite. It's too bad they have to leave so soon, but that's just how it has to be. Just keep them distracted. It would be nice to just isolate Grant. It would be nice to just tell everyone about the evacuation. It probably doesn't matter what you do. It would be nice. So these are the options. It would be nice to do a couple of them. Yes, does that mean I'm doing it? Because I don't necessarily want to tell them about the evacuation. I get why putting that off, since that's what we're doing. I get, like, not saying, hey, you gotta leave in like 2 days. I do get that. Just like act like everything's normal and then shove them out at the last second. I get that. So I guess it wouldn't be nice to tell them about the evacuation. It would be nice to just isolate Grant because, well, I don't know. I assume he's already gotten me sick. If the others aren't sick, they're going to get sick on the way back. So let's just keep them distracted. Look at these titties. Alright, as long as they don't suspect anything, they won't have the opportunity to complain or make a fuss. Just keep things going as planned and it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. You fold up your sheets and stretch, contemplating the itinerary. Breakfast, moonwalking, their business meeting, lunch, gymnastics, free swim time, one more night of sleep, and then tomorrow morning bright and early they'll all get shipped out. It's going to go fine today. Today's going to be fine, so let's get ready for it. No shower, no makeup. No shower, minimal makeup. No shower, exciting makeup. Quick shower, no makeup. Quick shower, minimal makeup. Quick shower, exciting makeup. Let's do what we do in real life. Quick shower, minimal makeup. You finish up after by brushing your teeth and fixing your hair. You check the mirror really quickly. As good looking as ever. Okay. You hasten off to the kitchen to start carting out the breakfast goods. Rehydrated scrambled eggs, Repla meat sausage, a few fruits, specifically sealed. Specially sealed fish for breakfast, cereals, and the most difficult but underappreciated baked goods. You plant yourself next to the spread. Now the only thing left to do is stand and wait. Their perk of free entry breakfast means you've tasked to stand around and smile for an hour, to be a scarecrow against greedy tourists taking too much food. Well, and of course you have to get them drinks if they want it. The door opens right at the start of the breakfast hour, and you smile brightly for James, who seems unusually chipper himself. You greet him. Good morning. How are you doing? Please help yourself to the food. Can I get you anything to drink? I would say good morning. Ooh. All right. James smiles back. Thanks. Say, are they still called mornings here on the dark side of the moon? He gives the food a cursory scan, glances around the room, and sidles up on you. Hey, listen. I wanted to ask you something since nobody's here. He glances around, again to double check about creatures. Well, the game in general. I take it that you liked Elegy, right? Yeah, I really felt like I got close to Elegy. Yes, Elegy was kind of fun. Not really. I'm sorry, I need to focus on making sure the breakfast is ready. I mean, you let him inside your body. You got pretty close to Elegy. He pours himself an orange juice. Yeah, and you were definitely supposed to, but that's what I'm worried about. I mean, it's fun to have that connection, but there's no place where in-game love interest will ever seriously tell you no. The entire relationship dynamic is up to the player, and that worries me. Like maybe we're not sending the right message about consent. Interesting. You can fail romantic games all the time. That's true. There are games. Maybe not their games, but like there are plenty of games where, One Night Stand. I played that earlier this year, and I did not succeed at any of the times I played it. People just want a simple love story. I don't know how games can meaningfully recreate consent. I do. And if gamers didn't find the relationship building fun, they'd just watch porn. Ugh. All right. Not ugh to porn. I just think that's a gross response, to be clear. All right. You can fail at romance games all the time. True. He starts loading up the tray with Repla meat, bacon, and eggs. Yeah, I suppose there's that. It's not an automatic win, at least not all the time, but still there's a system built in where if you just say the right thing, make the right choices, pretend to be someone you're not, you can win the affection like a prize, and that's just so incredibly entitled. It says, but not everyone pretends to be someone they're not just to win love, like me in this game, right? But games are about pretending to be someone else. Sometimes. How can you better portray consent in games? I don't think there's a good solution to that problem. I mean, there is if you set it up for more negatives, but I don't want to think about that right now. We're not trying to build this game. We're trying to play this game. So not everyone pretends to be someone they're not just to win love. You clarify. I mean, what if you're both really the kinds of people that would fall for each other in real life? He frowns. I suppose that scenario isn't necessarily better. But that scenario isn't necessarily better. And a lot of games now tailor their love interests to match the player's choice. They literally change themselves to appease you. I don't know. It feels creepy. What are you really forming a relationship with? Some sort of shape-shifting platonic ideal? He shudders, then contemplates. The problem is that they're always available. The player has all the power in the relationship. How would you give more power to the NPCs to say no? Make the fantasy reality difference clearer in the game, accept all the times you can fail at romancing the target, but that power fantasy is why some people play video games. I mean, it is. I don't want to get into it, but alright. I would say, how would you give... I mean, I know how I would do it, but let's see how he would do it. He frowns. I'm not entirely sure. I've been turning over some ideas in my head, but none of them really feel like viable solutions. I'm starting to worry that it's a fundamental problem, something unfixable. And An affection matchmaking system, a game with real rejection stakes, a completely chaste game. That's an option. Something else. I don't really think it's possible to portray consent. It is possible to portray consent. Something else is a lame answer. A completely chaste game. I have nothing against a completely chaste game, but I don't think it solves this issue, so I wouldn't pick that as the option. A game with real rejection stakes. There are games like that. I don't know what an affection matchmaking system means, so a game with real rejections. James nods, yes, but how do you implement that? Randomly generated romanceable versus non-romanceable characters, affection thresholds. Any way you cut it, the NPC can always be gamed. If you're just brute force it like a total creeper. Well, unless you made a game where NPCs would always reject you no matter what you did. But then what kind of fun would that be? I don't know. When he says the brute force thing, it reminds me of playing Fable. Like, when I try to get, like, 500 wives or whatever. I mean, that's an exaggeration, sure. But, just like they don't like me and I do enough things to make them like me, make them like me, make them like me, we get married. And then I go find another wife. I don't mean it as a creeper thing. Because, to me, for video games, I'm usually separated from that game. Like, in this case, I mean, I'm picking choices based on how I feel, but, like, I'm not invested in this James guy. I don't know him. Like, if it works out, if it doesn't work out, that's their issue. I'm just along for the ride. So I don't actually think I married those ladies or tricked them. And for Fable, if doing this over and over again makes somebody fall in love with you, then okay. All right. Anyway, I'm glad that people like you are around to worry about this. I'm not. I think you're doing the right thing. Don't worry about it. They'll solve it eventually. Just give people what they want. It's a game. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm glad that people around are like, well, it's too flowery for me. So I think you're doing the right thing. Sure. James smiles and blushes. Excuse me. Thanks. That means a lot from you. He looks at his fully loaded plate. Well, anyway, thanks for indulging my rambling. He glances nervously about the empty room, going to grab a seat. He looks a bit uncertain sitting all by himself, but apparently decides to respect your professional duties. You peek at the clock, just most of the hour left. After a few minutes, Ren and Grant walk in together. It's a relief to see Grant up and about and around with the other tourists. It will help them think that everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. I'm here. There's nothing to worry about. They nod at you cordially and load up their trays, sitting down next to James to chat. Eventually, they three pick up their plates and deposit them politely in the dirty dish bin. You shift your weight and check the time. You've passed the halfway mark. You stretch and then straighten up as Diana drags herself in, greets you with a long yawn. Good morning. How are you doing? Please help yourself to the food. I'm just going to say good morning. Why would I? Good morning. Diana wipes away some of the sleep from her eyes and starts pouring some coffee before responding. Oh, yeah, good morning. They say, I think they now say it's a myth that yawns aren't catchy, but even if I read a yawn, see a yawn, hear a yawn, if I think too much about yawning, I'll yawn. Diana sips from the mug and sighs softly before putting the... See, oh, good. Okay. Diana sips from the mug and sighs softly before putting the mug down on a tray. She glances at you, then up at the glass ceiling, but the stars are hard to see with the extra breakfast interior lights on. She turns back to you. Why do you think we make art? You startle. It's not really something you've given much thought before now. Art enriches our lives. It's fun. Art allows us to collect our thoughts to a certain perspective. Art allows us to communicate with others. I'm sorry, but I really should focus on my work. The thing is that while I think that I'm too nice to people, and I find that most people are lonely and want to share things, so I try to give people the space to do that, even if I don't want to hear it. So I wouldn't while I would normally probably think, like, oh, I don't want to do this, I would be like, hey, why do you think we make art? Which one? Let's see. I think that we make art because, I guess we'll say it allows us to communicate with others. I don't know that it does, but it's an outlet to express, is the way I see it. So, I don't know. It allows us to communicate with others. Diana nods as she drinks deep from her coffee. So art is just the way we fix our ideas into a palatable enough form for others to understand quickly. I think there's something to that. It's how we speak to each other, tap into the universal human experience. What about art that doesn't have a voice? Art without a message? Do you think that art needs to actually have something to say? Art art ought to have message to be considered real art. Art doesn't need to have an intended message to be considered art. Art is still art if a viewer can get their own message out of it. Just because you don't think it's meaningful doesn't mean it's not to the artist. I would say art is still art if a viewer can get their own message out of it. She lets out a deep sigh. I mean, I suppose technically that's true, but what's the point of making art if you don't have anything important you wanted to say with it? I guess, like, alright. Uh, what is it? Just artistic small talk? I don't get it. And even worse in video games, there's so much high bloom, unoriginal crap out there. It's even more frustrating when you're trying to make something new, something with a message. She continues on. Do people value deeper meanings in their games, or just all gaming wrapped up into a superficial appeal? Alright. Do people value deeper meanings? A lot of gamers prefer philosophical challenges over skill challenges. People love games with good stories that speak to them. People enjoy all aspects of the game working together. People play games to enjoy the fantasy, not wrestle with the philosophical truths. I think people love games with good stories that speak to them. Diana breathes a sigh of relief. Yes, I suppose so. But I think that a lot of people are confused by what exactly good story means. They get overly focused on self-fulfillment. Anyways, it's a good point. All hope is not lost. Diana glances down at her empty tray as though she just remembered its existence. I guess she should actually get something to eat. But thanks for hearing me out. I really do appreciate it. She distractedly spoons a bunch of random foods onto her plate and then goes to sit down. You don't even have time to look up at the clock before Sadri and Andres enter the airlock. They giggle at the spread. Andres makes a crack about the food being the same as back on Earth as the two of them load up their plates. Andres gets fairly close to warranting a ration reminding cough, but they leave to sit down with Diana before you have to reserve to that. After a few minutes, they all three finish up and walk out laughing. They wave to you as they leave. You're left alone with all the trays to replace and the leftovers to put away. The glories of being a space tour guide. At least the moonwalk is next. That's always the high point of any visit, and then tomorrow they'll all be gone. That sinks in. Oh, tonight's the last night you'll see any of them ever again. You feel a little empty just thinking about it. But then, of course, that's always going to be the case. Even if you had just a few more days together, it's a rare treat to meet tourists who are so interesting and friendly. You'll miss it. Are they that interesting, though? Clean up and prep for the moonwalk. Even though you just did it yesterday, you inspect everyone's suits again. You text a notification to the group that the moonwalk is ready. Even though you just did it yesterday, you inspect everyone's suits again. Some things you want to be very sure of. You text a notification to the group that the moonwalk is ready, and they all show up promptly. This really is an amazing group. They're even wearing the right outfits, full coverage, clothing, and long socks. You put out the ping on your walkie-talkie that suiting assistance will soon be needed. This will be the smoothest moonwalk yet. I think we just jinxed it. You stand up to address the group. What do you emphasize in the safety briefing? The danger, the fun, how the suits work? Just follow my lead. It's a safety briefing, so I would probably emphasize the danger. Like, hey, this is going to be fun, but take your helmet off, you're dead. That's what I would do. You clear your throat and address the crowd. Listen, this is definitely one of the most fun parts of your stay here, but it's also the most dangerous. Being on the dark side of the moon makes for some amazing stargazing, but it also makes moonwalking that much more dangerous. Keep within the bounds of the field lights. There will be several Spacejoy employees out walking with us. If anything goes poorly, or even if you'd like to stop early, one of us will be happy to escort you back. The outside entrance has a large panel button to open it. No keys or code required. They all nod and look around for what to do next. You gesture toward the arriving stewards. like putting on medical armor. Myself and the other stewards will help you get into your suits to make sure we're all fixed up. Then we'll get suited ourselves, and after a quick systems and pressure check, we'll be on our way. James waves at you from across the room. Ooh, he wants you to help him. Help out James, maybe someone else. Actually, I'd rather not help anyone. I'd probably rather not help anyone, but I don't look like a dick. This guy is like, maybe help someone else. I don't know. It's this weird thing where like he's not doing anything inappropriate, so I don't want to shut it down necessarily, but I also don't want to give him the idea that anything's going on. I'm just a space steward of sorts, you know, helping. I would help out. Like this is a part where I personally get kind of oblivious about stuff, and so I would be like, oh, this guy needs a lot of help. Like it wouldn't occur to me that like, in reality, it wouldn't occur to me that like maybe he has any interest in me. I would just be like, oh, this guy is so fucking needy. So that's what I would do in this instance. And then later, like if he grabs my butt, I'd be like, hey. He grins excitedly, glad to know that I'll be getting assistance from the best. He looks at... There's another thing where I was thinking just now, where like if I thought this guy had anxiety, I would 100% like be like if I thought he had anxiety and that we had some sort of, not like connection, but like if he just felt comfortable with me because he sees me like most of the time and I already had conversations with him, then I would 100% be like, yeah, no, it's not a problem. Alright, anyway, glad to know I'll be getting assistance from the best. He looks at your eyes and glances at your lips, then back to your eyes before breaking the tension. So, what do we do next? Oh, dude. Your face flushes at the closeness. You try to maintain composure as you meet his gaze. I'll need to take your measurements. Pull that dick out. He steps closer and holds his arms out. So then, measure away. You pull out some old-fashioned measuring tape and hold it against him. Height, arm, shoulder. I already have his measurements? Whatever. Height, arm, shoulder. You brush up against his arm. The unexpected contact sends shivers down your spine. Oh man, this is bad news. He is so off limits. Well, not technically, but practically. You cough and straighten up, doing your best to conceal the warm blush spreading over your face, but James looks just as affected as you are, grinning madly and avoiding eye contact. Fantastic. Oh, but also terrible. You smile back despite yourself. I have to go get this suit now. You practically sprint off. Just how bad is this? Actually, this feels amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not the best idea, but why not enjoy it? It's gonna get you in trouble with your job. It'll never work out. It's just not what you want. There's multiple reasons not to get involved. This is weird because like it seems like she might like it. But let's say there's multiple reasons not to get involved. Mainly that this chick is trying to not get in a relationship, it looks like. Alright, so you won't. Run your fingers over your crate labels until you find one that's the best fit. It's slightly too big around the waist, but people usually suck it in for the measurements anyway. You haul the crate out of the suit part. You haul out the crate of suit parts. You take your time helping them into each piece of the suit. They're designed to be sturdy, flexible, and simple for the wearer, but that means they require a lot of work for the assisting valet. Layers, seal, buckles, electronic tests. You squint your face in concentration. Finally, you finish and step back. How do I look, he asks. Fantastic, adventurous, nimble, ready for anything. I would say fantastic. Ugh, James strikes a heroic pose. He's doing the Fable thing, but then loses it in a fit of giggles. You clap and bow, but seeing as how almost everyone else is nearly ready, it's high time you got suited up as well. Your box has already been pulled out by another steward. You do your best to avoid eye contact. Your position feels privileged enough without being in a position where they have to act as your servant. You start with the pants. Why wouldn't you just be like, thank you? I mean, it's polite. Like, if you don't want to feel better than them, you should at least be appreciative of them, right? Like, oh, thank you so much. Like, it's, whatever. Alright. Okay. You start with the pants, what look like and feel like plastic infused canvas cloth, and you lean on him. My servant? Then you lean on him as he helps you into the ski boots like armored shoes. He bolts on your greaves and knee guards as you slip into a plastic canvas jacket. Then your least favorite part, the plating around your chest that goes down just past your natural waist. There goes most of your flexibility. Then the butt guard. Sounds like we need a butt guard with this James dude, am I right? And adjustments to the back harness. You wiggle your fingers into the inner glove and then the outer glove as that he holds open for you. He smooths your hair back to slip on the canvas hood. Then the straps to the gauntlets and the elbow guards, turning on the left gauntlet electronic control panel. You feel a sudden down and backwards pull as two stewards load your pack onto the back harness, the battery, oxygen, and communication antenna. They hover behind you with digipads hooked up to several electronic ports all over your suit. All pre-helmet systems check out. You thank your coworkers profusely. All right, there you go. As your adrenaline starts pumping, you're about to go into space. This never ceases to feel amazing. You look over at the tourists and fellow chaperones. You say, let's have a blast. Let's go exploring. Let's keep things moving. Let's get this over with. I love the idea. Like, you're super excited. This is every time. Like, you're just ready to go. And you're like, let's get this over with. I would probably say let's have a blast, I guess, because I'd be trying to make some sort of rocket joke. They all follow your lead to the airlock. You instruct everyone to lock on their helmets. HUD and comms check, everyone reply. You get excited confirmation pings from everyone. The interior airlock door seals behind you. The air evacuation starts. This is the point where if someone's going to panic, they do. Cramped interior, the point of no return. How do you reassure everyone? I'm pretty sure I would be one of the people panicking in this situation. Just relax, everyone. This is standard procedure. That sounds like a lie. I can't wait to show you the moon. I hope everyone's excited. How's everyone doing? I would say I can't wait to show you the moon. I can't. And then I pull my pants down. Nah, that's why you got the butt guard, so no one can do that moon joke. That's smart. They know what they're doing. You get some nervous agreements from the group with just a few yeah and yep affirmations, but being pulled up from the top of the roller coaster is not the time when people are feeling all talkative. There's a small spike in oxygen use from the general group, but nothing out of the ordinary. Everyone using an airlock at once enforces a sort of herd mentality where emotional states are mostly shared. It highly discourages panic, at least for the single minute it takes to drain the chamber. And then the auto lock opens. You bounce out backwards and gesture for everyone to follow. There's some hesitation, that slow tourist pace, and then they finally follow. They gawk at it all. The moon dust landscape, the universe above, the moon base exterior, each other in spacesuits. They're in the palm of your hand. The other stewards fan out, prepared to take pictures, roll video, and potentially deal with any emergencies. Okay, so I'm confused now that we're talking about this. We're on the dark side of the moon. And they were all mad about, like, the reflection on the moon and how hard it would be to take pictures. So where's the light source? Did we just light it up so now it's no longer the dark side of the moon? And everything's lit up? Or are we in, like, darkness? I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess. Because, it does matter, because if the idea is to look at the stars and you've got the whole place lit, I don't know. Alright. While the suits have 3 hours of oxygen and warmth, you always give a 30-minute buffer, considering that some people have already burned 15 minutes before getting out. That's 2 hours, 15 minutes left of exploration. Which activity do you start them on first? Do some lunar exploration, show off the universe, play with lunar props, describe the moon dust, describe the moon base. I mean, I'd probably show off the universe. That sounds like the most fun. You call all the tourists. Listen, everyone, to me. I'm going to shut the exterior. Okay. Sometimes if I just wait, I get the answer. That's why when I do review stuff, I don't like to do like necessarily reactions, because like a lot of times I have a question and it's answered within 2 minutes. Okay, you listen to me. I'm going to shut off the exterior lights. We're going to take the opportunity to look up at the universe. Everyone tilts their heads up expectantly. The lights dim before turning off, so as not to be frighteningly sudden. I guess that's fair. And then it's there. Nothing but the uninterrupted universe. No sun, no light, no atmosphere, no reflection from Earth. Just the unending, beautiful eternity. There are audible sighs and gasps. You're certain you heard someone sniffling back a few tears, but you give them a benefit of not checking whose audio trace it was. Okay. I would totally 100% look. Not even to like make fun of anybody, but just to know who's feeling it. You could talk to them about specific features, but you just let them silently enjoy the view. Everyone seems completely engrossed in looking up at space. You've got 2 hours before you should think about returning everyone to base. What do you do next? Show off the universe some more. Let's do some lunar exploration. The fuck is a lunar prop? Okay. You turn the field lights back on. You encourage the tourists to fade out and explore the local landscape. They slowly jump around to different spots within the exploration bounds, where Space Joy recreates a natural-looking environment of small hills, craters, and rocks. Sadri climbs down one small crater, enjoying the chance to look closer at eye level to the moon dust. Ren jumps down and joins her, delighting at the deliberately placed asteroid in the center. Diana kicks some dust into the crater, trying to bury them. Okay. I kid. James starts walking the pace of the boundaries, trying to determine the area of the playscape, while Grant jumps higher and higher, trying to determine the limits of the spacesuit height of the moon. Andres gently tosses a small rock, amazing over how long it goes before it touches the ground. Everyone seems to be having an amazing time. You've got 1 hour and 45 minutes before you should think about returning everyone to base. What do you do next? If I have to do all these other things, I would probably describe the moon base next. Like, I would do something exciting, do something boring. Do something exciting, do something boring. We'll see what happens. You direct everyone to look back to the building. That's Space Joy's good old moon base 14. From here, you can see the massive storage tanks of water, oxygen, and other atmospheric gases. You can also see the exteriors of employee personal areas and storage bulkheads. On the other side of your observation room and dining area, strategically opposite of the exploration area, so that the glare from the searchlights in the dust cloud, don't interfere with the enjoyment of those areas. And of course, you can see the openings for protective dome. We raise it whenever we have warnings of meteor showers, or if we're undergoing any sort of tourist-free maintenance. And, in case anyone was wondering, we call them meteoroid showers instead of meteor showers, because we have no atmosphere on the moon to burn up the meteoroid into a meteor. Nobody really seemed all that interested in the explanation. They spent some time posing for pictures instead. You've got 1 hour and 30 minutes before you think about returning everyone to the base. I want to know what a lunar prop is. You summon over 3 remote-controlled replicas of an ancient moon rover. These can be controlled with the button panels on your suit's gauntlet. Try them out. James and Diana claim one, working together to pretend like they're taking soil samples and scientific measurements. They actually coordinate together quite well. Why don't they make out then? Andres and Grant get overly competitive, steering the other 2 rigs in a race. Sadri allies herself with Grant, turning the race into a robot battle by using the digger arm to poke at Andres' robot. Are you allowed to do that? Ren voices her concerns about damaging the equipment, but you reassure that it's perfectly fine. They're designed to be durable. She pauses and then evens the score by controlling Andres' robot to attack Grant's rig. They all seem to be having a great time. You've got 1 hour and 15 minutes before you should think about returning everyone to base. What do you do? Alright, now I describe the moon dust. Ooh, this one's long. Okay, you launch into tourist mode. So the moon dust, or lunar regolith, has created over 4.4 billion years of asteroids beating and battering the surface. The dust was further shaped by a process known as space weathering, with its exposure to cosmic rays. The stuff is actually considered a nuisance by spacefaring endeavors. It's rough. It's rough, more reactive than Earth soil, and sticks to everything. But that's why we wash our suits up before returning back to the base. So feel free to enjoy it however you want. Ren bends down, picks up some dust, enjoying watching it sift through her fingers. James attempts to throw a clump of dust like a snowball at Sadri, who ducks out of the way. Diana starts drawing out a pattern in the dust by dragging her feet, while Andres and Grant just fascinate over the footprints they leave behind. The spacesuit shoes are specifically designed to imitate the iconic moon boot pattern. You feel a twinge of guilt remembering that time that Space Joy actually attempted to copyright the boot pattern. I'm not that emotionally invested that I wouldn't feel guilt. I would think that they suck, but I didn't do it. Unless it was my idea, then I might feel bad. They really seem to be getting in the spirit of moon fun. But then it happens before any of the chaperones can stop it. Grant jumps too close to James, and they accidentally collide. And they both fly into space? James is propelled backwards, and despite all his backpedaling hand gyration, there is no atmosphere to push back against and right himself. You start bounding over to assist, but he starts screaming at the realization of the unstoppable fall. Grab me, grab me, grab me, grab me, grab me, and then lands hard against his backpack. The suit's designed to take it, but it can be a frightening experience. The excessive oxygen intake alarm triggers as James graduates into a full-blown panic attack. My suit is torn, my suit is going to tear, my pack was damaged, my oxygen is leaking out, it's leaking out. He starts thrashing, unable to right himself in his panic. This spikes his oxygen even more. You're just a few steps away. Okay, we'll get you back inside. Wait for me to help you. The oxygen spike was from your panic. Stop causing a scene. I would never say stop causing a scene. I wouldn't say that. I might explain it, explain what's happening, but I wouldn't say it in that phrase. Wait for me to help you. Just, if he's in a panic, telling him to wait, it's not going to help. So, action. We're going to get you inside. James stops thrashing and latches onto this. Please, please, I know you'll help me. You pick him up, I assume, as he continues with the panicked babbling. Please, I just want to go back inside. You feel pity for James as you lead his back to the entrance. This kind of panic in front of a group can be hard to live down. And of course, it puts a damper on everyone else's enjoyment. Which makes an interesting conundrum. You can escort and calm down James, or you could stay with the rest of the group and focus on keeping them calm instead. Okay. This isn't that interesting of a conundrum. I would do it without thinking. So I would just escort James out. I can't imagine, especially in this instance where in the previous statement I assumed that this guy had anxiety and maybe has again, not that connection, but kind of a comfort attachment to me. So if I'm already operating on that and now he's having an actual panic attack, I would clearly be like, let's go, James. I also like the idea of again, because I don't fully understand my job parameters, right? I don't know if I go escort James out now. It's the steward died because of the stress or something. But I just like the idea that that guy's having a problem and I'm like, we'll get you out of here. And then I'm like, go fuck yourself. I don't want to watch these guys play in the dirt. You lead James back to the airlock and opt for the smaller, faster emergency lock. You warn James about the upcoming safety procedure. We're going to be cleaned off with water jets to keep the moon dust out of the base. It will only take a minute and it's perfectly safe. You get no reply. He must just be totally numb about it all right now, or he's dead. Water jets hose you both down from all directions, but James doesn't even react. He just stands there, head down, occasionally taking a step back to help buffer against the pressure. The silence is heartbreaking. Should you say something? No, let him speak when he feels comfortable enough to do so. No, you might say the wrong thing. So how are you feeling? I'm sorry that happened. Is there anything I can do for you? I say, is there anything I can do for you? The offer of comfort hangs in the air for a long time. The jets stop and the water drains. James finally speaks. I just wanted to get away from things. Sorry that I freaked out back there. And I knew I was fine. I knew it would be okay, but I couldn't stop it. I couldn't get a hold of myself. He slumps down and collapses against the bulkhead. It's terrifying, losing control of yourself. You always think that your mind, your brain is at least yours, that you can control your mind, but you can't. He seems more frightened by how his brain illogically reacted. You get used to it, dude. James finally speaks. Wow, I really lost it back there. Oh man, I just really freaked out about nothing. He slumps down and collapses against the bulkhead. It's horrible knowing that you can just lose control of your senses like that. Your fears just take over and make you into this complete other person, and you feel like you're just witnessing someone else. Ugh, it's creepy. I say that experience would have been frightening for anybody. It's a self-preservation reaction. Sometimes life is just scary. Well, I'm glad things turned out all right. I would say that experience, it would be. If you've never been on the moon before and all of a sudden you're falling, you can't really, the things that you do to help mitigate the fall aren't working. First, I would be like, oh my god, I'm going to fly into space. So I'd already be a little freaked out. Then, as I hit the ground, if I thought my pack or my suit were damaged, right? Obviously, it's genuinely anyone would be in that situation. He sighs. I think that's exactly why it's frightening, because it feels like there's this other me inside. Not like a split personality, but something you can't stop, something that's not entirely you, like The Stranger by Billy Joel. He looks down at the steward helping him undress, wink, then back up at you. I'm glad it doesn't reach Twilight Zone levels, but then again, maybe having something else kick in when we're afraid is what saves us, protects us. Is that what it takes to deal with the sheer terror of existence? Is there any other way? Focus on the positives. Rely on others to keep you strong. Our brains may have a weird strategy, but they figured it out, or I have no idea. Okay, so I don't like the focus on the positives. The rely on others to keep us strong is weird. Our brains may have a weird strategy, but they figured it out. I don't know that I agree with that either. It's just the way they operate, but I guess I'll go with that one. James shakes his head grimly. I guess I can't argue with that. I guess we've made it this far with that functionality. We just have to deal with life how it is. You can't help but agree. You glance at the other steward. I can't help but agree with the thing that I said. Yeah, I'm right. You glance at the other stewards and gesture at the suits. They sigh and oblige, packing away both his gear and yours as you start escorting James back to his room. With every passing second, you can feel Space Joy's official reprimand transforming into a commendation for helping talk down James. Although at this point, you're just happy that you were able to help him. What was my reprimand for? Was I not allowed to let him fall? He doesn't wait for you to say something back. You know what I like? The ability to fucking restart that chapter. You say, sure, if you want. Yeah, I want that sometimes too. Not for me, thanks. And you play too many video games. I would say, yeah, I want that sometimes too. I mean, sure, if you want. I don't know how he can restart that chapter. We're not going back on the moon. We already put our suits away. He winks. Glad we agree. James stands and stretches. Anyway, what time is it? You check your walkie-talkie. The other stewards have finished the moonwalk. The rest of the tourists are just undressing now. Wink. And it's almost time for the business meeting. James waves you off at that news. I'm going to go shower and get ready for the meeting, but then I'll see you at lunch, yeah? And that's it. Right after grappling with an existential crisis, he has just to meet up with the others, put on a brave, smiling face. You see James off and head down separate passageways. Glad that it worked out well enough. At any rate, you've got 2 hours to yourself before lunchtime. You deserve a break. You lock yourself in the room and try to shrug off the worries of the day. You boot up your computer. You smile at the startup music of Creatures. Now, where did you leave off? Oh, yes. You and LG breeze through more backstory. As the recruits of the Department of the Revenant Dignity, you're assigned to stop the Traditionalists. You run some training missions, and then you two receive the first field assignment, investigating an abandoned base. This is one of your favorite levels. LG flits around you cheerfully. You know, I bet there's no Traditionalists here. Never were. I bet some weird hazing ritual. Your avatar laughs it off. But you know that the creepy forest surrounding the farmhouse actually is an abandoned Traditionalist base. Well, mostly abandoned. You say, I doubt that. Let's crash that party. Let's get down to business. Hey, actually, we need to talk. We're breaking up. I say, I doubt that. LG hovers around you, whispering cloud mock seriousness. Well, in that case, it really is a hazing thing. Don't drink whatever they give you. It'll probably be water. Your character smells back. Thankfully, I've got you to warn me off. LG flashes. Absolutely. Your avatar reaches out to embrace LG, wrapping itself in a beautiful blue glowing light. The ghost power HUD appears on the screen. How should you make your way through the building? Do some reconnaissance first, burst in the front door, climb a tree to a second-story window, stealth in via ghost powers. I'm probably never going to pick ghost powers. Like, sounds like a cop-out. I'll probably do some reconnaissance first. And the way I do this is I'm trying to see what's going on, and then I accidentally walk into wherever the bad guys are. You sneak around the grounds. I can't do reconnaissance again. You sneak around the grounds, and in the forest behind the chain link fence, whose lock you break, and you find a power generator. You switch it off. LG laughs delightfully. Ha! Let's see how well those bastards see in the dark. How should you make your way through into the building? Climb a tree to the second-story window, stealth in via ghost powers, or burst down the front door. I'd probably climb a tree to the second-story window, if I knew that was an option. You practically run up the tree and then jump through the window, smashing it as you enter. Okay, well that's not the way I thought it would go, but okay. It harms you a little bit. Oh, great. But you've already recovered much of that health passively. You end up in one of the bedrooms. It's packed with 2 bunk beds underneath a heavy layer of dust, but not much else in the room. Even the open closet is empty. This is where the rank and file thugs must have had to spend their nights. You remember some experience with the entry level, You remember from experience that the entry level has a flavor pop scare. The upper levels have some backstory related to Dolores, and entering the basement triggers the rest of the level. What's a flavor pop scare? I guess I want to do the backstory. So let's do that. You check and are satisfied to note that plumbing works in all the bathrooms. There are several bedrooms that have all their furniture replaced with 2 sets of bunk beds each. However, each room is empty and covered with a fine layer of dust. The people who were staying there definitely cleared out. The single study has an empty bookshelf and locked rolled up desk. You rip off the top and dig through the drawers. You find a piece of paper that got stuck behind a drawer. It's a command from Dolores to enroll her son in Zorabra's experiment. LG pulses purple at the revelation. Truly heartless. Just to be thorough, you attack the empty bookshelf hoping for a secret door, but the result is nothing more interesting than the normal environmental damage. Okay, the entry. What's a pop scare? Like, oh, I mean, if it's not some, I would just further the story, I guess. If I'm replaying and entry level. Okay, a bunch of furniture has been shoved in front of the window while the rest of the room is completely bare. It gives the house a normal-looking facade from the outside. Deep scratch marks cover the floor, evidence of large objects being dragged around. Those lead to the basement. The living room had a cabinet that's crawling with bugs. LG goes in. Oh, ew, so glad I don't have to eat anymore. The bugs scatter in his flame. You open the doors and reveal rotting fast food trash. So gross. The rest of the room with the windows have facades similar to the entryway, but otherwise they've been completely cleaned out. You continue on the level basement. You navigate in the dark with LG helping you illuminate the way ahead. He complains to you. I think at the point where you have to actually investigate the basement of an abandoned farmhouse, you're better off just torturing the place. There's an empty cage with bars bent out. You hear something, a terrible slicking meat on meat noise. The anticipation has a hold on you. I love this part. It won't be that scary. It's kind of scary. It's a bit much for my liking. I don't know. I'll just say I love this part. I don't know. A monstrosity staggers forward, moaning low and painful. Your character can smell that it's a zombie like you, but much larger. As it staggers closer, you can see its giant, perpetually reconstructing body. Oh, that would be such a pain in the ass to fight. It's a Zurobras. Multiple zombies grafted together. Gross. Each original body part attempting to reform over the other bodies in the construct, creating a striation of consumption and deconstruction. The resulting creature is confused, frightened, and in unfathomable pain. It bellows and starts stumbling toward you. Rip the zombie apart, shoot its face out. I would assume it has more than one face, right? Stay hidden in the darkness, try to reason with it. Look, buddy, I know you're 4 zombies in a trench coat. I mean, if it said faces, I would know. I guess. Okay, so if we rip them apart, it won't be in pain anymore, right? If it had more, if it had shoot faces out, I would 100% die. Stay hidden in the darkness. Look, man, they'll find you. They'll find you. If I can smell them, they can smell me. LG, boost your strength as you claw through parts of flesh. LG channels dark flame from your claws, cauterizing the different zombie parts as you cut. You pull. I forgot that I have claws for some reason. You pull apart the separate chunks so small that they won't even attempt. Oh, did not understand what I was doing. The chunks so small they don't even attempt to reconstruct themselves. You're victorious. A massive group of humans is beyond the next door. They have anticipated you. See, I was thinking you separate them and they help you and become your friends. Alright, whatever. A massive group of humans is beyond the next door. They've anticipated you and launch a flamethrower in your face. What? Halting your regeneration for a minute. You dispatch them in an especially elegant combo, firing off a few shots to burst open the flamethrower's fuel tank, throwing some energy balls to ignite the spilling fuel, causing one of them with an assault rifle to slip and fall, spraying bullets all around the room, then climbing up and over the furniture to maul 2 more enemies, and finally grabbing one of the assault rifles to take out the runner. You notice that the basement is much smaller than the first time. That's story mode perk in action. You make your way to the final room, and cages full of Zubras pour out. You know it's supposed to be a scripted fail, but maybe if you survive this naturally, you can save Elegy. How do you deal with them? Again, if I had my zombie friends like I expected, this would be different. Okay, you can kite them all and deal damage from afar, exploit their size to engage in melee one at a time, focus on crowd control, or just run and make it an extraction point. Okay, so I know it's a scripted fail. If I knew that based on what I had done last time, I wouldn't do what I did last time. But I don't know which of these I did last time. So just run and make it to the extraction point. If that's an option, do it. They're slightly faster than you. For a zombie, I don't know why I assume it's 4, but in my imagining there's 4 of them trying to heal over each other over and over again. In immense pain, and they're somehow faster than me? I doubt it. They're slightly faster than you. You make it... maybe I'm just slow. You make it back to the first floor and then out the door, but once outside, they surround you. Well, how do they do that? Even Elegy seems to panic. You hear from inside you, man, I had no idea. There's no way this can be happening. This does not bode well. The camera falls down to the floor, then swivels up to catch the massive Zuberus before wiping to black. 5 real seconds later, your avatar wakes up where it was left. Elegy hovers over it, fitting about fretfully. Oh, thank goodness you're awake. I led them away, but who knows how long they'll be gone. Let's go while they're distracted. Follow me. Of course, that's what Elegy says, but with the benefit of a second playthrough, you know otherwise. Elegy traded his Renaissance frequency for your freedom just now. The traditionalists now have access codes to your home base. You've just killed the whole rest of the Department of Revenant Dignity. Well, as long as you don't bring Elegy with you on the final mission, at least that means you can still save Elegy at least. Thank you for saving me. Alright, let's go. I don't believe you. You should have left without me. I'll say, alright, let's go. Elegy pulses, then flies toward an open door. This way. I'm so relieved that you're okay. I thought you were gone back there. He adds semi-seriously, but if you ever wanted to die for real and become a ghost, I'm all for it. Your avatar laughs at Elegy. Thanks for the offer. If I ever decide to go through the process of becoming Will-o'-the-Wisp, I'll be sure to let you know that you can watch. Gross. Elegy bobs in deadpan agreement. Thank goodness you're considerate inner voyeur. Your avatar runs on all fours toward the extraction point. The Zuberus follow right behind you. It's a close shave to make it to the helicopter in one piece, but you do make it. Elegy loops a slow circle of relief before floating off into a corner and dimming, no doubt brooding on his betrayal. Should you say something? Okay. So in this instance, I know. And, I mean, in the first time, did they have the allowance of me knowing? I wouldn't tell him off. Like, I would say some kind words to Elegy. You're a handsome ghost. You're Elegy. How long are we doing this? An hour and 17 minutes. I shouldn't be this messed up already. Your avatar smiles at Elegy. Hey, I'm really glad we managed to get out of there alive. Thanks for saving me. Elegy floats somewhat awkwardly in front of your avatar, basking in the blue light. Couldn't just abandon you. I'm glad you're here with us now. The level ends. You take a deep breath to contemplate those consequences. Hopefully it'll be enough to make a difference. Take a moment to readjust the blank white wall in your room to reality. It's almost lunch. Time to get back to things. You turn off your computer and pack it away. Off to lunch. As you start to head back, your walkie-talkie buzzes with a message from Marcel. You steel yourself before reading it. So their meeting is running long and they'll need you to cater their lunches to the meeting room. Got it? Well, that's not so bad and certainly makes sense. You apply in the affirmative. What if I was like, I don't get it? You head over to the kitchen and fill up the cart with trays, baked polenta, fried repla meat, calamari, and individually ordered pizzas with a single wine bottle and some chilled dessert. Oh, I wish I could have wine in meetings. You hum as you push a cart down the passageway. Your pleasant mood deflates as you open the airlock and everyone eye daggers at your intrusion. They turn back to each other and there are a few attempts to restart whatever conversation was going on, but each sentence trails off before it can even start. This is definitely not a place you'd like to stay long. You're the one who asked me to come bring you food, dumbass. Alright, keep your head down, avoid drawing attention, just serve the food out quickly. Raise spirits by enthusing about the food, proud about what's going on. Hey guys, what are you doing? Let's keep our head down and avoid drawing attention, even though we just did. You succumb to their stares and cower, which blissfully deflects their attention. They transition from glaring awkwardly to fiddling with papers and pens. You take your sweet time in packing the cart. Ugh, eh. Relieved at the reprieve from attention. After you can delay it no longer, you focus on the service. As you start placing appetizers and drinks, Diana finally resumes their discussion. She points at James. Now, I think that he has some good points, namely how incorporating into a larger schedule will affect our quality. But I really think that we should be focusing on all the positive things that we will gain by this transition. I know I have all these ideas, these directions, but I never get to pursue them because they're so far outside of our budget. Grant sighs. I'd prefer you to move on to hammering out contract details, not rehashing cold feet arguments, especially if we're going to move forward on this project. Andres looks at you nervously at the mention of the word project. Whoa, they haven't even decided whether or not they're going to be joining up with synth play. You start serving out individual dishes. You haven't given much thought to the planned merger, but now that the deal is at such a precarious tipping point, you're not sure exactly what kind of outcome you'd prefer more. Okay, I mean, my decision doesn't matter. You should join, their game would improve. They should join, their lives would be easier. They shouldn't join, their games would homogenize. They shouldn't join, their lives would be more difficult. You're not certain how you feel about it. It's not really your business, even amused internally. You're just curious about what the project is. Okay, so my understanding is it's just for this one thing, though. So, like, I'm going to say I'm not certain how to feel about it. I clearly don't understand all the circumstances of what's going on, so I don't know. But you're sure they'll figure it out. You set aside the nitrogen-cooled tiramisu dessert, then pack up your cart and head towards the airlock. James watches you pack up your things, and then casually stands up and stretches. I'm going to take a bathroom break. I'll be right back. He pushes his fork around, and then slowly heads toward the same airlock you're exiting. You push your cart slowly along the passageway, and almost immediately he waves you down. Hey, sorry, our meeting's going so long. I was looking forward to you joining us all again. You've got some interesting thoughts. I was looking forward to it too. There'll be more chances. Don't worry about it. It sounds like the meeting needs all that extra time. I'm going to say there'll be more chances. Because I'm positive Polly. James shrugs. That's right. There's a whole rest of the week to get to chat about things. I'm looking forward to it. You do your best to affirm that fact, but your cheerful lying skills are stretched to their limit. Work on it, dude. If you're going to be in service, gotta do better than that. He turns to you, face scratched and thought, what about you? Do you think we should join up with synth play? I think you should join. I don't think you should join. Do whatever you think is best. It's not my place to say. Okay, I'm still confused. I mean, I would assume if they do the contracting right, like they could make sure like they have control. I thought it was for the single project. If it's for a single project, I think there would be why not? If you can have them finance your project but still keep your company separate, and then like especially in that instance, if it's a failure, right? Like you can still keep your company name mostly in the clear by being like, these assholes, am I right, my guys? So I don't know. I think you should join. Why not? Good. James barely registers your opinion and continues musing aloud. I want to think that it would be good for the company, good for the future. I know for me it's frustrating being yoked up with so many testing responsibilities, and I can't catch everything. I can't keep everything together in my mind. But it feels like the easy way out is to just join up with Synthplay. Will we lose something special if we do? He smiles. I guess I'm just nervous, but I shouldn't be. It'll be worth it to be able to do this new project. I hope things go well for you. I hope things go well for your companies. I hope things go well, and what's the project? So what's the project? Just don't make the wrong decision. I have found, like, you don't want to... Okay, so I'm, like, the worst at asking questions. I know this. People say stuff to me, and I react to what they say, but I rarely inquire further. So, just say, I hope things go well for you. James puts his hand lightly against his head. I guess I just need to figure out what this means for me. He shakes it off. I guess I should actually go to the bathroom and get back in there before they get suspicious. He bounds off, leaving you with an empty cart. Finish your chores. You ignore the giggling from the small group of stewards, which quiets as you approach anyway. You smile and give a cordial greeting, then return it politely enough. And they return it politely enough. You make sure that they're informed of the change in the lunch location before heading off to prepare the next scheduled activity, gravity play in the gym. Wink. Their chatting roars back to life as you leave for the passage airlock. So lonely in this position. You enter the gym and start looking over the equipment, the climbing wall ropes, bars, mats, trampoline, and the flying rig. It's tedious, but someone's got to do it. The whole time, the potential consequences of their merger turn in your mind. Soon you're joined by other supervising stewards who wait for you to finish your duties. They sit and chat, enjoying the break. You run through the final check and glance at the clock. A few minutes over time. They're all late. Their meeting must be running even later. You really hope they don't miss this. It'll be their last official activity there. After this, it's just free swim time, which is optional, but then the airlock opens, your initial flood of relief calcifies over into dread. Each of them look pissed. The meeting did not go well. Of course, now it's going to be your job to cheer them up. You make a clown music in your head. Enthusiastic welcome, athletic welcome, scientific welcome, safety welcome. What the hell's a safety welcome? I would give an enthusiastic welcome, which is what I do when people are being, like, weird. So, enthusiastic. You take a deep breath and turn the smile as far as it'll go. Now that everybody's had a chance to get accustomed to low gravity, it's time to have some fun with it. Here you'll have a chance to play with all the equipment you want, bounce as high as you can go, climb ropes in the blink of an eye, even have fun whizzing around in our flying rig. You gesture to the extra nearby stewards. We're all here to watch over you and make sure that nothing dangerous happens. Don't worry. Andres goes to the flying rig while Grant decides to follow and watch. Diana goes for the uneven bars and James goes for the rings. Sadre tentatively steps towards the trampoline and Ren just sits down on the mats and swipes away at her device. Who do you help supervise? Oy. Andres, the flying rig can be dangerous. Grant, there might be a bad reason he's not exercising. Diana, you can break your neck if you do the uneven bars improperly. James, you can dislocate your shoulder by pulling up on the rings. Sadre, even with paddling, you can still cut yourself on the... Even with the padding, you can still cut yourself on the trampoline springs. Honestly, somebody on a trampoline on the moon, the springs are my least of my concern. I mean, you can get hurt on them for sure, but, like, you can cut yourself on a trampoline spring, but, like, you can also fly off and break your neck. So Ranch is actually sitting in a good spot where you can easily supervise everyone else or leave the one-on-one supervision to the other stewards. I don't want to supervise any of them. Why can't I supervise all of them? And just check in with everybody. I won't be like, hey, how you doing? You doing good? You doing good? You doing good? Oh, fuck. Alright. You sit in the lifeguard chair that affords the view of everyone. You supervise as Andres is strapped to the flying harness and Grant continues to chat his ear off. Diana plays with the uneven bars like a pro. She must have taken gymnastics when she was younger. James jumps up on the ring for a minute, then gets bored and joins Sadre, jumping on the trampoline. They both laugh uproariously about something. Ren swipes for a minute or so before actually putting her device away and watching the others. Andres is hoisted in the air and has a fun time pretending like he's zooming around as one of the stewards moves the controls about. Diana tries more and more complicated flips while the bored pair of Sadre and James move onto the ropes, seeming much more satisfied with this activity. Ren tucks her device into a pocket and actually approaches the trampoline. She gives a few experimental jumps but seems uncertain about going higher. Your walkie-talkie buzzes. You glance down. A hull breach notification. Your lungs arrest themselves and your face drops and your eyes widen. Your first instinct is to cover this up. Throw the device and break it. You take a deep breath and reassure yourself. I can handle this. I'm a professional. I prepared for this. I know what to do. I can handle this. Well, is that really true? I can't handle this. I'm a professional. I've prepared for this. I've prepared for this. Knowing me, I've definitely prepared for this. You're even less certain the more you insist on it. I know what to do. You feel more and more paralyzed here, trying to convince yourself into confidence. I am a professional. It's time that you are honest with yourself. Oh my god, I can't handle this. I'm not a real professional. I haven't prepared for this. I don't know what to do. Alright, if I have no choice, I can't handle this. You take a breath again after what feels like an hour. Your mind starts to run off with itself. A hull breach from what? A meteoroid? Probably. You curse your bad luck. That shouldn't happen. The shield should be raised when meteoroids are spotted. This shouldn't be happening. The tourists are literally going to kill you. I assume the hull breach is going to kill us, so I'm not too worried about the tourists. They can go fuck themselves. Your walkie-talkie buzzes again. It's Marcel, no doubt calling to tell you what you already know. You press accept and jam the receiver against your face while trying to avoid nervous pacing. You still have to maintain some semblance of confidence. Marcel draws out, yeah, sorry about that. Some meteoroids peppered the base. Nothing too serious. We just need to do a surface evacuation. What the hell happened? Are we okay? Procedure says to retreat everyone to the bunker. What do you mean exactly by surface evacuations? I do want to know that, but I guess I'll say, are we okay? I would probably say what the hell happened, but without the hell. I'm talking to my boss here. You can hear her sucking air on the other side before answering comes. Well, yes, we're fine. Just a small peppering of meteoroids. Only 2 rooms hit with nobody even in them. No problem. And the meteoroids warning's over now, so we should be totally fine. So just down to the evacuations. You have to walk them over to our neighbors. Wait, there was a meteoroid warning. We still got hit? Why wasn't I informed of the meteoroid warning? Why aren't our shields raised? How the hell am I supposed to sell them on that? All of these are aggressive. I'll just be like, okay. Wait, there was a meteor warning and we still got hit? Marcel takes even longer to answer the question. Yeah, here's the thing. It was really low-level threat, so, you mentally slap your head. If the shields had been raised, then the evacuation shuttle wouldn't have docked. Standard safety procedure. It's all about that fucking early evacuation. She continues justifying the decision. I mean, it was really low risk, and evacuating them was first priority. You hissed inside your head. No, it fucking was not. Anyway, procedure says we keep everyone bunkered up. I think that we're better off keeping up bunkered here. I disagree. I'll go along with it. Fine, but if you think evacuation is bad, I'll say procedure says we keep everyone bunkered up. Marcel sighs in the microphone, causing crackling artifacts. Listen, it's cute that you think you have a choice in this, but I'm your boss, and if you don't do it, then I'll just have you put in the brig and ask someone else, someone lower and less competent, to do it for you. The meteor warning is over, and we need them all gone. Understood? Then the connection is severed. Well, now to tell everyone that we're all fucked. Great. We're all fucked. They take the news better than you expected. James looks contemplatively out in space. Sadri and Diana just stare at you, mouth agape. Grant nods and smiles meekly to mask his mounting panic. Ren, strangely enough, seems completely unaffected. Andres attempts to get control of the situation by blustering at you. Now, hold on a minute. If these are the meteors falling on us, isn't going outside the worst thing we can do? I think we should stay right here and wait it out. You can almost see the mutiny in his eyes. They're going to revolt, and the whole emergency is going to be painted as your fault. But you still have a chance to reassert control of the situation. You focus on allaying their fears. The meteoroid warning has passed. It's actually much safer in a suit than in a building. It's the fastest way to get you home. Now is not the time to argue. I think it would be difficult to justify it's actually safer in a suit than a building. Like, if you're out about in a suit and you get hit by a giant rock, like, at least the building would have maybe slowed it down some. So the meteoroid warning has passed. James interjects confidently. Actually, that makes sense. It would have been a part of a larger asteroid or something. Nah, that's now gone. You jump to honest clarification. Exactly right. Everyone else visibly relaxes, satisfied that even Quabity Ashuance agrees with your plan. You slide back into your smiling, assertive stance and solidify your authority. Great then, it's settled. We will make the walk over to Space Joy's Moonbase 12. Cider speaks up. Yes, but what about the workers here? Do they not get to evacuate? As guests, you're our first priority. They'll stay behind and wait for rescue. They'll stay behind and wait for repairs. Let's just focus on getting you out safely. I would say as our guests, you're our first priority. This seems to satisfy Sadri, who mumbles, oh, okay, I can see that. You expected more of an argument. Why? But then again, you suspect that she doesn't actually want to question her privilege too deeply. At least she has the presence to ask. If you're selling what you're saying, they wouldn't have any questions. You heard them with outstretched hands. Let's start making our way to the suit room. We'll have to take an auxiliary passageway, so please don't mind the mess. You look at Ren with her device. Oh, and please, no pictures. They're all silent through the whole journey through the unpainted metal service passages. It's not until they're being suited up that they start to mumble among themselves. The initial shock is wearing off, about to be replaced with another emotion. You need it to be trust. You turn to address the group. Matter of fact guidance, encouraging guidance, relaxing guidance, regretful guidance. Matter of fact. You gather their attention. Space Joy has multiple facilities intentionally close together. We'll be walking over to another resort to use their shuttle to get you home as quickly as possible. We're on the dark side of the moon, so once we leave the perimeter, we'll be relying on helmet lights. There are plenty of extra oxygen. Myself and other stewards will escort you. They have none. What do we have? No, I don't know. They have none. They just look at you sedated. Do they trust you? Well, they're going along with you at least. You just hope it holds. James attempts to cut through the gloom by making some cracks about lawsuits. You ignore it. Lawsuits are probably a reality at this point, but best not to admit it. You give an icy, non-committal smile in reply, but luckily nobody else finds the joke amusing or interesting. You thank the stewards who have finished suiting you up. James approaches you, eyes flitting about nervously. Hey, listen, I'm worried about, well, freaking out again. What if something happens to me out there? What if I don't make it? Don't worry, I'll supervise you. Don't worry, we're all here. Don't worry. I know you can do it. Maybe you should stay behind. Maybe you should stay here in this death trap. Don't worry, I'll supervise you. This definitely reassures him. He smiles. Hey, I'm glad to know you've got my back. Who better? I don't know, somebody who knows more about the moon. As I mentioned, myself, I don't know anything about the moon. I don't have a handbook here. 5 minutes later, and you're leading everyone into the airlock like it's walking through molasses. There's no buzz of anticipation, no excitement for exploration. They're facing the real unknown this time, and it's terrifying. Dread fills the room as air is sucked out of it. You direct everyone to turn their light helmets, and then as you pass through the threshold of field light, you notice oxygen use spike, then level. They're probably thinking they prefer to be on the bright side of the moon, but it's actually much more dangerous. Seeing the looming Earth causes vertigo and disorientation. Some people have gotten lost and died just hundreds of yards from the base doors. The darkness actually helps keep you grounded. Verbally check in with everyone, scroll through their oxygen levels, scroll through their energy levels, let things be. I'd verbally check in with everyone. Everyone sounds off just their name. Nobody seems that much in the mood to chat. Out of nowhere, Diana laughs raucously and pauses. Wouldn't it be nice if we just die and respawn back on Earth? Grant sounds taken aback at this interjection. What do you mean, like in a video game? James laughs, joining in. But the respawn point's too far away, too long of a taxi trip. What are you thinking? I think you want a teleport button instead. Or how about just a portal? Okay, okay. You can die and respawn on Earth. Like, if didn't hit save, and that's where the game started. Whatever. Okay, I think teleport button instead, or how about just a portal? Why not just re-roll? But isn't respawn just a clone? We should actually focus on conserving oxygen. Or how about just a portal? Cedric jumps in. No, I agree with Diana. Respawn would be better. That way, no matter what happened, you would just definitely be safe. Andres whips his helmet light around to look at the group. I love how crazy you all are. Ren keeps her beam focused straight ahead while responding. I agree. Respawn. It would be nice to beat death. But that's not beating death, is it? But think of the travel convenience. What about restore points? Everyone wishes they could beat death. Then why not just be immortal? If you're not... I don't know. You're not beating death if you keep dying over and over again. But think of the travel convenience. You argue it through. Every day, no commute, ridiculously fresh food. James takes things in a different direction. If you're really trying to save yourself time, why not ask for sleep to be unnecessary? I would love that. I know, I sure like to get those 8 hours back. Andres pokes fun at him. Yeah, but then what if you wanted to spend the night with someone? No sleep sounds like a plus to me. You just lay down and stare at each other awkwardly for the rest of the night. You pretend to sleep to be polite. I guess you get up and watch cat videos afterward. Okay, so I'm guessing in this situation, I'm the only one who doesn't need sleep. And, while it has been quite a while, generally, if I have someone spend the night, especially initially, I don't sleep anyway, so. Everyone laughs. You're relieved that the spirits are high enough to do so. You take a break to cycle through everyone's oxygen and energy levels. Their numbers look good. They're progressing at a better rate than you had hoped. Of course, it helps that the terrain is flat and even. The chatter is doing them good, and you're making good time. Then it appears at the forward edge of light, a huge crater. It must be new from the meteoroid storm. You walk up to it, peering down, estimating by the depth. It must be at least half a kilometer wide, but you can see the edges. But you can't see the edges from here. You have to go around, but you'll lose time, and you have no idea how much time. Perfect. And of course, okay, detail the new plane going around it. Pretend like this was always here. Don't even acknowledge the crater. Try to scout the better route before sending them ahead. I would pretend like it was always there. You know this crater, right? This crater's huge. It's always, like, everyone knows this crater. I like the idea of not acknowledging the crater and then we all fall in. You don't even slow down to explain it. We're going to go around this crater, but by the time we're around it, we should be most of the way there. Stay away from the edges. Their oxygen use increases a little bit, but quickly levels back out. You lead them around one of the sides. Diana's headlamp illuminates down into the crater. Can you even imagine the slow death from falling into that crater? Being unable to climb out, sitting down and just waiting for your oxygen to run out, or maybe opening your own suit to end it faster? James seems unimpressed. You could totally just jump out. Sadre seems to shiver in her suit. I don't think I'd like to try it. Tell the truth, it's too steep to climb out of. Encourage them not to fall in. Describe rescue procedures. Lie. Tell them that you could jump out. I would encourage them not to fall in. Let's just not do it, guys. You certainly don't need to tell them twice, and happily, there's not really any change in oxygen use. You check their resources, 1 hour, 35 minutes left of oxygen. That's not the best time, but then again, tourists always shamble. Ren fixates on the crater as well. It looks bottomless from up here. I mean, without the light to see down into. It's just terrifying empty blackness. Andre's voice crackles over the comm. I won't lie, it's scaring the shit out of me. Like, what if something came out of it? Sadre teases him. I think you've worked too much on zombie games. But then it happens. You feel a small tremor of movement and James shouts. You flip around and count. One fewer tourist. Everyone's oxygen level goes crazy, yours included. James is missing. He must have fallen down. James is a pain in my ass. The whole time, this guy. Okay, so you order everyone back, look over the lip, check for damage, talk to James, figure this out. I'm gonna order everyone back. Like, I don't need any more tourists in the fucking hole. They're all crowding around the edge, threatening to fall in themselves. Get back, you shout with the authority that you can. I do not want anyone else to fall in as well. They oblige you. Good, at least they still trust you. Or maybe they see the logic in your order, but you can't afford to second guess yourself. You need to focus. Look over the lip, check for damage, talk to James, figure the... I guess look over the lip, if that's where he is. You turn your beam wide and then concentrated. James is staring back at you, waving furiously. Well, that's good. That's definitely something at least. Diana speaks up for the silent group. Are you going to save him? Your mind racks. You obviously need to save him, but the rest of the group shouldn't linger. They'll drain their oxygen while they gawk. Check for damage. You switch to his readout. You got lucky. The suit's fine and didn't register any damage. Of course, there's an oxygen use warning, but that's from the hyperventilating. You mentally remind yourself to focus on controlling your own breathing pattern. James sniffles. Please don't let me die. Talk to James. You open a private channel. Hey, are you okay? Can you speak to me slowly, calmly? Tell me your name and what's my name. He fights against shallow, rapid breaths. Yeah. James and Betty. As you try to focus on what to do next, your brain insists on dwelling on how it went wrong, how it's your responsibility or fault. There's not enough time to return with a crane or even a ladder. You didn't even have the foresight to bring one. There's not even any extra oxygen tanks, because who didn't think about that? You're going to have a tourist die on your watch. You will be unhireable, maybe even arrested. I should have given the crater a wider berth. Yeah, I should have been more explicit about avoiding the crater. No. They're dumb. Should have never agreed to evacuation. It wasn't my fault. Should have given the crater wider berth. You got a bunch of nerds. Go further away from Diana prods you out of your self-examination spiral. What are you going to do? You steel yourself. You're the best of the best. You're not going to let this get out of hand. Ask everyone else to continue ahead while you take care of this. Radio for equipment in case your rescue attempt fails. Just take care of this right now. I would ask everyone to continue ahead. Like, don't worry, you guys. Just keep going. Stay away from the edge. We'll catch up with you. And then I would shoot him to put him out of his misery. Okay. I assume I don't have a space gun. The surge of clarifying energy strengthens your voice as you address the group. Okay, people, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go with the rest of the stewards. Oh, there are more stewards than... Okay, then we're fine. The rest of the stewards on the moon base ahead. I will stay behind and rescue James. You take a deep breath. Will they trust you? Have you built up enough goodwill that they'll follow your directions? They oblige you. They trust you. It's a surprising relief. One less thing to worry about. James has been hyperventilating up into a tizzy of panic. What if I die out here? A rock's not going to tear open my suit when I climb up, or I'm going to rip open your suit. It's not going to work. I'm going to die. I knew it was going to happen. He's probably right, your brain says to you. At least one of you is going to die out here, and it will be your fault. You fucked this up. Express confidence in him. Remind him that you're there for him. Ask him to focus, or start reaching down for the rescue. I would express confidence in him. You got this, buddy. You keep it upbeat and firm. Hey, I know that you can do this. You're an amazing and perceptive person. I know that you're used to seeing... Oh my God, I'm taking up so much time. We're going to die. I know that you're used to seeing the negatives in situations, but trust me that this will go well, and together we will do this. Now let's get you up. You hope this was sufficiently inspirational. His breathing becomes more regular, at least. You grit your teeth. I'm going to reach down, and you're going to grab onto my glove first. You will then get a solid foothold and reach up for my belt, another foothold, and then up to my leg, and then you should be able to climb out. Are you ready? What is holding me down? Anyway, climb won't require much strength with this lessened gravity, but will require some coordination. There's always the risk of him kicking you and breaking a bone or part of your suit. Yikes. What? I don't understand how this is working. James reaches for your glove, then grabs on, but he doesn't move forward. He seems paralyzed, and you notice his breathing rate is actually way too low, almost catatonic. That's scary. Come on, James, you urge. Reach for the foothold next. He lessens his grip. Listen, what if I kill you? What if I knock out your oxygen tube or tear open your suit? Is it worth risking your life for mine? Care about keeping safe? It's my job to protect you. That risk is my call to make. The risk to me is minimal. None of those. Genuinely. Even though I know that, let's say there's a 90% chance that this dude kills me, right? On accident. If it was intentional, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. But let's say there's a 90% chance that this guy kills me when I'm trying to rescue him. I would say that it's not going to happen. You trust me. I've done this before, right? Like, it seems scarier than it actually is. You're going to be just fine. And then I would fall into the crater and die. But I care about keeping people safe. It's true. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I knew that he wouldn't. James releases your glove. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I care about keeping people safe too. And what gives you the right to make this choice for the both of us? It makes more sense. That's why you gotta lie. Like, I'm sorry, but like, the answer is no, you're not gonna kill me. Are you stupid? I do this all the time. No one's ever killed me. What gives you the right to make this choice for both of us? It makes more sense for you to leave me, for you to go on. Why do you get to sacrifice yourself for me? Why can't I make that choice? James is such a dick, dude. Just like, get over yourself. Get out of the fucking hole. I'm gonna get fired. You're gonna die. Let's go the other way. Because if I did die, I'd be happy knowing I was helping someone else. Gross. Because I can't just leave you here dying knowing I could have done something, because I'd be fired and arrested if I didn't try. Just be honest. And because you need saving. I assume James does need saving, but because if I die, at least I'd be happy knowing I was helping someone else. Gross, but whatever. Should have lied in the first place. That should have been an option. James gives an exasperated sigh. See, that's what I'm talking about. You think I wouldn't die satisfied that I did the right thing? You think you're special, more deserving? You're not. He's frustrated. We humans are stupidly designed. We break so easily, and our lifespans are only about 100 years, and then that's it. Your mouth dries in terror. See, this doesn't scare me or affect me because I think about this stuff all the time. Mouth isn't coming up. James isn't going to come back up. Then they're going to find a recording of this conversation, and a jury is going to convict you of manslaughter for not talking him into just trying to climb up your pack. Your mind flashes to cover up strategies before you shake the thought from your head. Oh my God. Self-preservation much? But life is an amazing experience. There are people who want to see you stick around. So stick to death by staying alive another day. You can tell me about death after you get back up. Okay, there are people who want to see you stick around. Look, if I gotta go down on this guy just to get him out of this hole, fine. James breathes out a slow steam of air. Well, that is true. There are people who would be sad. Oh, it didn't take much. Okay. Good thing he didn't know what I was willing to do. He reaches out and pulls on your glove. Thanks for helping me with that. Sometimes I'm just not sure what's what. He climbs up and over your back. You hold your breath waiting for the ripping noise, a system failure alarm, something, but nothing happens. And then it's over. You're both fine. The whole experience already starts to fade back into surreal mist. Thought you were lost. I'm glad you're safe. Nobody dies on my watch. Let's get on with it. I'm glad you're safe. James has already started to trek forward. Yeah, I'm glad too. He retreats within his own mind. You give him space enough to think it over. You've got 30 minutes of oxygen left. That's enough to make it if there are no more emergencies. Oh, he's going to fall in the goddamn hole again. We're all going to die. That's enough to make it. You keep your breathing deep and steady. Your mind feels almost disconnected from your body as it comes down off the panic. It's several minutes before James breaks the silence. I actually hate the thought of death, you know? I mean, I feel like I can never enjoy life. Like, I can never really be happy with this grim specter hanging over my head. I wish I didn't have to worry about death either. You have to remind yourself of the positives. You just have to focus on life. I'm alright with just living this life. I wish I didn't have to worry about death either, I guess. James stays silent for several meters. Yeah, I mean, it's not fair. It's straight up terrible, and I hate it. He crackles the calm with a sigh. I almost wish we didn't know about it. Like, we were completely ignorant about death. The options are that sounds nice. I'd rather just be immortal and just focus on how lucky I am to be alive. Death might be scary, but there's nothing wrong with accepting it. I do just focus on how lucky I am. You notice James stop and tilt his helmet light up toward the sky. The naked infinite universe. I suppose you're right. There's not much else we can do. I just wish there were something else. He pauses. Well, I appreciate you letting me muse about it, at least. Thank you. You make the rest of the journey in silence, separated by bulky spacesuits in the vacuum of the moon, but it's the closest you've ever felt to another human being. Alright, we'll go next. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to call it a day. Because I'm starting to get sleepy. You make it to Moonbase 12's airlock with 10 minutes left. It opens and admits you immediately. The interior doors open, revealing a bunch of pissed-off-looking staff. They probably don't appreciate having to clean up after your mess. Sucks to be you, chumps. Unfamiliar stewards started doing your suit. Nice. As a gruff older woman, another director of activities with reddish hair immediately accosts you. Betty, we're glad that you supervised a successful evacuation, but we're under orders to ship you back as an ex-employee. Uh-oh. What? Why? How could they do this? Well, I figured this was coming. I would say, what? Because it is a surprise. She nods. Yeah, well, ignoring a meteoroid warning has its consequences. You stammer, blush red. That was Michelle's order. You weren't even notified of the meteoroid storm. Your mind is a whirl into understanding. You're being thrown under the bus. That's scum. Before you can even respond, James raises his voice from across the room. No, that was my fault, not Betty's. I got spooked in a spacewalk. I insisted on going back to Earth no matter what. I threatened to sue for false imprisonment. What? Redhead breezes you a skeptical look. Is that true? I would say no, it was Michelle. She rolls her eyes. I really don't care about it. I'm not going to argue against a client's self-incriminating story. Stay here, we'll sort it out. James insists more forcefully, and I'll still report Spacejoy to the travel authorities if you don't get me on that shuttle back right now. He has a theatrical foot stomp to accept the accusation. Ugh, so dumb. Redhead looks at you with an understanding exhaustion in the back of James, who smiles smugly. Redhead lets out a long sigh. Well, I guess if it's true, then you, Betty, are free to return to Base 14. I'll take care of things from here. You're dismissed. Uh-oh. What's going to happen to James? The redhead shrugs. Spacejoy Terrain Squad will sort it out. She steps forward and levels her eyes with you. Now I'm in charge here, and I've got my own group of tourists to attend to and explain why we're doing this stupid evacuation early, thanks to your incompetence. Please bounce on back to your own base and get out of our hair. The local steward stewards reverse from undressing you to sitting you back up. She grabs James by the arm and leads him out of the room. James, it's time to give you a quick wave before leaving. Well, that's it. You never see each other again. It's not really the parting you were hoping for. But then what were you hoping for? Just getting to say goodbye? As they latch onto a fresh oxygen tank, you contemplate what you did wrong, how it all went so badly. I wasn't perceptive enough. I shouldn't have gotten close to James. I didn't say the right things. I can't beat myself up over it. It wasn't preventable. But was it? Oh, darn. I don't know. I didn't say the right things. You could have laid out the case against Marcel better. You can see it now. You could have pulled up the video of Grant's arrival, shown them the records. The local stewards finish suiting you. You screw on the helmet and make the long trip in silence. The whole way you contemplate your massive failure back at base. Here's the thing. Like, in that situation, I thought they just meant as a whole. In that situation, I couldn't say anything. I was either going to get fired or not. You know, I don't know. Maybe I should have got fired. As soon as you get in, your walkie-talkie registers a message from Marcel. Sorry about the confusion, Betty. Anyway, everyone has approximately 1 to 2 weeks of in-facility PTO while you manage repairs. Honestly, I wouldn't want to work at a place where they're blaming me, but, like, I guess I don't know, like, I don't know how to get right. Like, can you just quit in the middle of this? Because, like, I would be like, okay, that's fine. Now I'm leaving. Okay. Enjoy your time off. Psh, figures. Would starting a mutiny damage your resume too much? Oh well, Space Joy Corporate will sort her out. You can explain everything in your report. Don't you turn the report into the supervisor though? Who you turn that into? Anyway. Before you know it, the other stewards have removed and packed away most of your suit. You cram your helmet back into its case and slam the lid shut. The whole thing has been one ball of stress, and you deserve something to diffuse. The game. You burn through levels at a furious haze. The rescue of Laurus's son, the infiltration of Zorobaros's experiment facility. There's a bug in front of me. The decoy staging attack that leads you away from your base. Your competence, your mastery merits the anxiety. Your competence, your mastery melts the anxiety away. And within the evening, you're at the last level again. There's a distress call from an old base. Screams, shout of betrayal. Your avatar looks appropriately shocked and then determined. Elegy floats in front of you. We've got to hurry back. It hits you. This level is your last chance to stop Elegy from dying. This time, it has to stick. First, confess feelings for Elegy. Regretfully send Elegy away. Angrily send Elegy away. Or go through the level with Elegy. I don't know. I guess I have feelings for Elegy. I don't understand. I don't know. Elegy, I love you, and I guess that's the thing. She's upset because, I don't know. Your avatar waves Elegy down for a lazy looping figure 8. Your character looks down at the ground. Listen, this time together has been short, but I've enjoyed getting to know you, getting to be around you. It's been such a blast, and I really want to let you know. I just wanted to tell you. Elegy hovers in front of you, of your avatar, much brighter than normal. I know what you mean. I feel so lucky that we got a chance to be together. You're a lot more fun than boring x-ray charts. Elegy wraps around your character's body, melting into it with a soft, beautiful light. Your character sighs, closes her eyes, and tilts her head back into contentment. You just wish this moment could last forever. You and Elegy together, happy. And then I guess I do like the idea of being like in that moment and then get the fuck out of here, dumbass. Anyway, regretfully send Elegy away. Your character purposefully separates itself from Elegy, simultaneously making a pushing away motion. Listen, it's going to be dangerous in there. We'll be up against something unwinnable. I can feel it. Please. I know you'll disagree with me. I know you'll argue it, but I need to separate. Elegy jerks back as your avatar lowers her hands and reiterates definitively. I need to go in there by myself. What time is it? Okay. It's 11 o'clock. Elegy bounces left and right nervously. I can't. He rocks forward and backwards while insisting, I'm sorry, but we're a team. I know you care about protecting me, but you think that I also don't care about protecting you? You think that you can make a choice to just sacrifice yourself for me, but I can't make that decision for you? Isn't that what James said in the crater. Elegy hovers solidly in front of your avatar's face. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you, so if there's something so terrible in there, there's no way to make it without me. I insist that you leave. I'm sorry, but you need to sit this one out. I'll meet with you afterwards. I promise. I'm sorry, you need to sit this one out. Elegy flares red, so if you die, you don't make it, you're fine with forcing me to live out eternity with the knowledge that your death was completely preventable, completely my fault for not being there. You want me to get my moaning ghost chains out now or wait for after your funeral? You think I don't love you too? You think I don't care? I'll leave, but I want you to think about how selfish, how dehumanizing, how unfair to treat me like I'm some frail thing that needs your self-sacrificing protection. He floats up and away, becoming nothing more than a speck in the distance. Your avatar leans against a building, crestfallen. That's the way it had to be. I'm sorry. You see your GUI pop up, hard mode engaged. Well, this must really be it. You reassure yourself that you're doing the right thing, but it feels hollow. You slog through the level. The set design is short, and it takes much longer without Elegy's ghost power assistance. Your aim is worse, your speed is slower, and you don't have any access to any spells except your natural regeneration. And there's the fact that you feel like a complete ass throughout the whole level. It barely even registers as enjoyable when you execute a technically flawless combo that wipes out the last group of elite guards. You pause before the final boss room. This had better work. This had better be worth it. You take a deep breath and press on into the final room. Loress is there, behind a shield, of course. Loress adjusts her necklace as she notes your entrance, addressing you. So, you think I wasn't prepared for this? You bounce in delight. Her dialogue is different. This is working. She continues, oblivious to your real-world glee. Do you think I don't know what your plan is? Wait, where's the ghost? Didn't you have a ghost with you? Are you really all alone? Did you know? I don't need a ghost to take you out. Elegy's safe, where you'll never hurt him. Did I know what? Just I'll say, I don't need a ghost to take you out. To dinner. Boom, and then we do it. Loress laughs and presses a button. Two giant Zuburas enter from behind her. They leap down. You fight them off using a combination of different attacks and escape. You definitely feel like you're holding your own for a while, but the fight area is too small, too restricted, and their health regenerates too quickly. After a minute or two, they seem to have you pinned, forcing you to look up at Loress, who nods knowingly. Well, it sure seems like you're doing just fine on your own. And then, when you're ready to call it a skill check failure and restart your last autosave... Ah, fuck. I had a feeling. Elegy emerges from the sidewall. I know you sent me away. I know you were trying to protect me, but I can't let you face this by yourself. What? No, please stop. Alright, let's do this. No! Elegy ignores your protest. The ghost slams into your body. See, this is why we need consent in video games. Triggering a brief flash of light and re-emergence in the ghost-powered HUD. Your avatar frees itself from the Zubaras in the chaos of the merge. Your adrenaline pumps as you realize that you've been given a second chance. Fight the Zubaras, attack the equipment in the room, attack Loress, talk down Loress. Okay, previously I had attacked the equipment in the room. And that was bad. Was I fighting the Zubaras before? Zaurobos? Zorobos? Okay. I'll fight the Zubaras because that's like the thing we're in the middle of, right? You kite the Zoroboras around, stabbing them, hurling them flaming energy at them, shooting them in the face. You're on your best game. The music is pumping you on. Elegy is cheering for you. It's just these two final enemies, and then you win. You inch their health down 90, 70, 50, but one small slip in the pattern, and they're back to full. In frustration, your fingers falter. Your avatar strays too close to the Zubaras, and in that small instance, that small window of failure, they get you. They win. It's your best, and it's still not good enough. You push back the keyboard in defeat. You hear Elegy in surround sound. Wait, I remember this. Then Elegy floats out of your body toward Loress. I'll do it again. Her eyes widen in fear. No, not again, not you. I'll stop you. I'll have to stop you. She pulled the remote, and once again, flashes of light. The humming noise fill the air. Elegy freezes and vibrates. You're about to lose Elegy again. You have one last chance to say your piece. I'll miss you. Don't do this. You shouldn't have betrayed you. Fuck you, ghost. Don't do this. Your avatar shouts it. Please don't do this, but then your character keeps going. I remember now, this all happened before. You, that portal, it sent me back, but it didn't work. I couldn't remember until just now. It's happening again. Wait, what? Your character continues, I can't go through this again. Please don't send me back. Not a second time. I can't bear to go through losing you again. Well, the game tracks replays as part of the story, but it's too late. LG turns momentarily solid and mows to you next time before collapsing into a black hole looking energy sphere. A time vortex? Once again your screen goes dark, but this time when you regain sight, you notice that your hands are human. The dissipating black hole leaves a medical waiting room, the first level of the game. You were too frustrated to pay attention to the details the first time, or maybe they were deliberately obscured, but the ending sends you back in time to when you were human, with an invitation to replay it to get it right, but you failed. You didn't get it right. Of course you would fail. You always fail. The credits roll. Should you torture yourself again? I would replay refocusing, improving my skills without elegy. There's a game, I almost remember a game where I realized, I don't know what it is. Like I can almost feel it. I feel like you're starting to get the patterns better, but you're not able to beat the failure points at the farmhouse at the end of the game. Elegy still dies. Retry. Okay. Each successive replay goes faster and faster thanks to story mode mechanics. LG appears at the end, insisting that even strongest need someone to look out for them. LG dies. Your avatar mourns. The fourth attempt. The inability to make any sort of change. Why would I mean, how is using ghost powers more helpful? But let's see what that says when I click that. You feel like you're getting patterns better. Okay. Feel like you're getting patterns better. Farmhouse at the end of the game feels it almost feels difficult if the Zubro skill has matched your skill level. And always beat you. LG still dies. Your avatar sobs. Can't stop. Your avatar asks for it to stop. Oh my god. Replay setting LG way more softly. LG appears at the end, insisting that people who care about each other need to stick together. LG dies. Your avatar regards LG with deadened eyes and says nothing. Oh my god. Just like torture. It's just torture. Give up. It's not winnable. I want to see what happens. Feel like you're getting the patterns better. LG still dies at the end of your... Okay, give up. It's not winnable. Dumb. LG always dies. Okay, give up. It's not winnable. They never intended for you to win. Otherwise, you'd have gotten it after this many replays. They just wanted you to get wrapped in the hopelessness of it all to tell the story of the never-ending time loop. It's a bad ending. It'll always be a bad ending. And that's why they were so cagey discussing it, why they're so focused on the importance of having a game with a message. They're perfectly satisfied to punch you right in the gut multiple times and never give you a resolution. You power down and take the time off to take care of other self-maintenance errands. You get your dose of artificial sun, you work out to keep your muscles from atrophying, you trim your hair, you even get bored enough to help with repair tasks. There are reports, briefings with higher Space Joy representatives. They seem keenly interested in the meteoroid mishap. How exactly did it happen? Okay, so you can implicate Marcel, reiterate the panic, the guest story, insist that it was your fault, or plead ignorance. I would just be honest. I would just say, this is a series of events. I don't know. I don't tell you. I don't know if somebody else fucked up. I don't know if it was her that fucked up. I mean, I can guess that it's her, but I don't know that it was her. Whatever. Thank you for your side of the story, but it doesn't seem like they'll be able to do anything special with the information anytime soon. You're sure that the evidence will bear it out, but it will probably take a while. They thank you for your candor. See if there's evidence, then it's definitely don't lie. It's not very easy to disagree with the supervisor. They schedule a disciplinary review for the next shuttle back. You hope that will be permanent once they see the paper trail. Nearly a week later, you finally have internet access. It's a bit moot at this point, but you're curious about the creature's ending. Is your experience unique? Is it really unwinnable? I would look at the ending of creatures, check your mail, see if anything has happened with the Inquisition. How much time do I have on the internet? Let's look up the ending of creatures. Okay, the internet confirms that there's no way to get a good ending. Your character goes deeper and deeper into depression about being stuck in a loop, being able to find a solution. Fans are getting furious about it, actually. A few places here and there are scattered theories about it always being a way around it, but nothing is verifiable. Check your mail. Got a message from James. You open it immediately. Hi, Betty. I bet you didn't think you'd hear from me again. But I had the presence of mind to ask for your contact before they shipped us off. I wanted to thank you for everything. Weird that they gave it, but okay. Not sure if you've heard, but Collected is joining with SynthPlay. They're letting me start my own usability research initiative. I'm psyched for it. I know that you thought it would be a good idea, and that helped. You can never stand still, right? Anyway, I don't want to get bogged down on that. I'm sure you figured out by now that there's no good ending to Creatures. I told them it would be unpopular, but whatever. Anyway, I want to let you know our alpha fix of that scene. I think you'll appreciate its elegance. It'll be widely released alongside the official announcement of us joining with SynthPlay, a marketing gimmick to really sell the merge. Play it, let me know if you think it's fun or if you find any bugs. But really, I've come to respect your opinion. Thanks for thanks. I look forward to hearing from you, James. There's an attachment. Install that patch now. Okay. Your heart races. You hardly dare to hope. A way to save elegy. Booting up creatures such as we reveals a new menu option. Escape the time loop, which takes you to a screen with a blinking cursor and an input box and a single paragraph at the top of the screen. You stare at the black abyss. The time vortex is about to send you back again. Your mind fixates on how this is ending for you. Badly. It's a bad ending. But if you concentrate hard enough, you can change it the next time. Make it into a different kind of ending. What kind of ending should it be? Enter any adjective. What's Mad Libs is bumpy. The game returns to the input screen with an error message. Sorry, I don't know that adjective yet. If you think the developer should add it, please send an alpha report. Thank you. Also, please note that the system cannot filter out punctuation or variable capitalization. Thank you for your patience. You stare into the black abyss. The time vortex is about to send you back again. Your mind fixates on badly. It's a bad ending. Is that not an adjective? I'm so tired. That's a descriptor, right? Bumpily. Okay, noun, adverb. I don't know. I'm not trying. Alright. Adjective. Is it slimy? Yeah. Word or phrase naming an attribute. Alright. Enter any adjective. Okay. 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 Alright, elegy collapses into a larger, grander black hole before ever. You dropped in front of a frightening group of pedestrians. Who? What are you? Your avatar glances around, and you notice that all NPCs backing away from you in fright are wearing decades-old clothing. You must be the first zombie, the patient zero. The game fades to white, although the voice actor sounds wrong, almost digital. On the blocking, you notice it follows a pattern. The scene computer-generated? Interesting. Re-choose, or I'm okay with how things are. I'm okay with it. The game fades away to an editor mode where you see all the lines paired up with some basic camera and action directions, but it's all opened to your edits. You can retype the ending, make them whatever you want them to say. That's their plan. That's their project. Full player control over the game. That sounds so boring and annoying. The ability to make your own endings, write your own stories using your characters, to have them voiced with proper cutscenes. But then again, if you use this tool, it's still the same story. Is it the real ending? Chat window opens up from James. What do you think? I mean, if I wanted to design my own game, I'd just design my own game, right? Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Jane replies, well, but you can rewrite it and make it whatever you want. It's just a tech demo at this point, though. Did it feel satisfying at all? Did it feel like a real ending? I don't understand. I don't understand what just happened. So I enjoyed it, but I don't feel like it's a real ending because I don't understand what's happening. James says back, well, that's a problem then. But probably with the implementation, I bet that if the editor was released at the same time as the main game, you've gotten used to it. I hoped that this would help convince you that art is for the viewer. And then an invitation pops up for a multiplayer game of Creatures. He writes it, but for now, got time to play? I guess. I don't know. You meet up with the zombie avatar, fight together against hordes of traditionalists. It's here in the multiplayer mode that the gameplay becomes more open-ended and less story-driven. Just you two enjoy melting faces for several levels. It's a lot of fun, but each checkpoint makes you painfully aware how few hours you have left of internet time. Oh, okay. Really how few years you have left with life. It would be nice to have more time, but you shrug it off and focus on enjoying the time you do have. You joke, compete, and defeat the bosses together. You just have fun being yourself with a friend, and that's what makes the vastness bearable. Okay. And the Creature Such as We by Linnea Glasser. What did you think? That was beautiful, thank you. It was pretty good. Not really my scene. It's this is interesting because it's not really my scene, for sure. But it was exactly what I needed when I found it. And honestly, one of the things that does keep me from losing my mind has been playing like games with Malcolm and stuff like that. So I mean, it's creepy in a way. Like I wish I could say it's good, but it kind of freaked me out because this was like the weirdest time to find it and play it. But I did find it because I was looking for something to match me. So I'm gonna say that was beautiful. Thank you. Because again, while it's not my scene, it's not in a negative sense. Like I think it was well done. I think it was very interesting. I think I'll have more to reflect on after it like kind of sits with me. So. Oh, thank you. I'm so tickled hearing that. It's always nice to have your work appreciated. It's so weird thinking that she knows that. I wonder though, just between us, is there anything you'd want to change about the game? I mean, specifically with the ending. Then you could definitely use some changes. Maybe I'll look and see what changes you're offering. I think I'll stick with the ending I got. It's fine. It's refreshing, actually, that you're willing to accept the ending as it was. I personally think it's okay for some things to stay unresolved, that it's okay for some things to come out a bit messy, to think about how things could have gone better, while accepting things as they are, and I'm glad you agree. Thank you for understanding, and thank you so much for playing. Alright. It's tricky. How much would you recommend this to a friend? I don't have any friends that would play this, I don't think. It's an interesting game, and I guess if I had a friend who I thought would like it, I would 100% recommend it. I just don't have anyone. So I guess 10, most likely. I guess interesting. So there you go. Choice of game releases new games like this one on a regular basis. No thanks. Okay. Alright, let's close out. Alright, that's it. That is We Creatures Such as We. What is that? I think a total of 3 or 4 hours of mostly me reading and clicking on stuff. Probably not that interesting as someone to watch, but some people do enjoy the sound of my voice and my talking and my reading. Don't know why. I have had a lot more throat clearing than is probably pleasant, but what are you going to do? That's what happens when you talk for hours and hours. Yeah, it was interesting. Like I said, I think I'll have more thoughts on it after I've thought about it a little bit. I know that like I got confused at the end, and so I might rewatch the end part because I don't think I understood what was happening. And also I feel like I don't know what an adjective is. But also I picked the word silly because when I was looking up the word adjective, it was like words like silly, and I was like, alright. Yeah. Anyway, tired. So that's why this is getting weird. Anyway, so I might edit it down and then have my actual thoughts at some point because I don't think anybody wants to sit through the whole thing. But I hope you're having a good day. I hope you enjoyed it if you watched this. I don't know that I'll play it again. Not because I disliked it. It's just I think it's fine the way it is. But I'll talk to you later, and I hope you have a good night. All right. Bye.